him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast.
You understand, this is a fight to the death.
When the infected attack, what do they see?
What's your name?
Spike?
No. I think your name is Jimmy.
Let's turn this up to 11.
You heard it up top. We're about to get down with the sickness because there is a rage virus raging through our bodies as we return to talk about the fourth entry in the ongoing franchise, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Your hosts, Normies Like Us, Jimmy Colin.
I'm going to be old Mick.
And this is Sir Jakey Crystal.
Oh, Jakey Crystal. Oh, no. Oh, man. How do you feel about the Teletubbies? Any strong feelings?
I love them. My favorite show.
What do they call them? They call them the Teletubbies or the Teletum-Tums or something, right?
That's the Teletubbies, but he talks about having a TV in their tum-tum. Yeah.
Because as we know, that was the last thing he was watching before the outbreak occurred.
That's true, because 30 months prior, we reviewed 28 years later, to which this is a direct sequel to. Yeah. Almost 28 months after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little extra.
Wow. Right. Of course, this is 28 years later, The Bone Temple, sequel to a movie we talked about last year, 28 years later. Directed by Danny Boyle, written by Alex Garland. This one is directed by Nia DaCosta. And yeah, I was looking forward to this one, of course. We talked about, of course, Normies, go listen to our episode about 28 years later, a movie we all enthusiastically praised, right?
Yeah. We're going to be doing our top 10 movies of 2025. It's high up there, so we'll tune in for that when we do it.
It's definitely,
interesting where it falls.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where everyone places it. It's definitely in my top 10, so we'll be definitely talking about that next week.
And this one might be in my top 10
this
year. Who knows?
Yeah, we have to find out in a year. 28.
It's still early.
Years later.
That's right.
Yeah.
We really liked that first one. Obviously, fans were kind of divided. The 28 years later is the lowest rated 28 movie amongst fans, even lower than 28 weeks later.
That's crazy.
It's got a 63.
Can't be right.
I don't think people
Anyone who thinks that
family stuff.
Yeah. Anyone who thinks 28 weeks later is a better movie than 28 years later should be executed, I think.
Yeah. Donated to the Bone Temple, as some would say.
They should be.
I think they should remove their shirts.
Yeah.
Memento mori. Yes, remove your shirts.
Yeah, remove your shirts.
Time,
it's charity time, and we'll be spoilers for the Bone Temple. But the ending of that movie obviously turned a lot of people off because they're like, "What are these Jimmies?" They got their Jimmies rustled because out of nowhere, at the very end of the movie, we're getting introduced to Jack O'Connell and all the Jimmies of Sinners fame.
Mike, when I ask for ice cream, I ask for Jimmy's. I wasn't rattled by no Jimmy's at the end.
No, I was so happy about it. I was like, show me more.
And on our last episode when we talked 28 years later, we did talk about who Jimmy Savile is because many Americans don't know this. I had to explain to you who this British pop culture person who turned out to be a gigantic child predator, horrendously monstrous person. But of course, that's what the Jimmy's look is based on, because the idea is that the Jack O'Connell character, when he was a kid, was watching Teletubbies. It was watching Jimmy Savile on TV. And this is before the Revelations, which came out in our world after like 2002 when the outbreak happened. So he wouldn't have known about these things, but he sort of models his look after Jimmy Savile and calls himself Jimmy, calls his disciples Jimmy, and it's the cult of Jimmy.
Yes.
I like when zombie material is time-stamped. We talked a little bit in our Last of Us episodes about how like gay culture wasn't as accepted because the outbreak happened pre-gay marriage being legalized. Like I always think it's interesting to be like what the remnants of society hold on to. And this is certainly a franchise for that. But is, of course, just a refresher. And of course, they can go back and listen to our past episode. but what is your history with this franchise beyond that last movie we talked about as well? Jacob, have you seen all of these films?
Yes. And actually, I rewatched the first two before 28 Years
Really?
Later back in July, which is crazy to think about. Again, this movie is not even a year after 28 Years Later because that came out last summer. So it has
Like
not
6
even been a
months.
full calendar year. Yeah. But so I did
Awesome.
rewatch those 28 days later, 28 weeks later. And I'm a big fan of the first one, Danny Boyle. And then the second one is not so good in my opinion, but
The weakest one?
it's yeah, definitely the weakest of the four. I will say that.
28
And it was
weeks.
sort of a almost a direct to DVD sequel to 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle didn't come back to direct; it's a different director, and it's just a weaker. It's a weaker premise. I mean, the opening starts interestingly with what's his name,
Hawkeye?
Robert Carlyle from even before that the
Oh yeah, before that. Yeah,
Train Spotting.
Train Spotting,
Um,
yeah, Danny Boyle regular.
Yeah. But after that opening, it kind of goes down because it's all about his kids, and like you said, it's about Jeremy Renner and
America takes over Britain and is facilitating recolonization, not colonization, but resettlement. It was very silly. Anyway.
Yeah, just a weaker movie, but it leads to 28 Years Later, of course, where we find out in 28 Weeks Later that only the island of Great Britain has been infected and quarantined. The rest of the world goes on living, as we see in 28 Years Later, as a normal, society.
Our Swedish boy with a cell phone.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah, I watched I've seen all of them. I don't like Weeks at all. I didn't see Weeks until like before 28 Years Later. I saw the first one in film school. Everyone was like, "Oh, mini DV feature film." It still has like an interesting look.
Yeah.
For the time.
Absolutely.
So I like the first one. I love 28 Years Later, and yeah, Weeks can even Danny Boyle, like he never talks about it in interviews. He's like, "Yes, we did 28 years," and then he never will mention that Weeks exists. He tries to avoid it. What about you, Colin?
And 28 Days Later, yeah, I saw those both in the 2000s as well, and I love the digital look of 28 Days Later. Such an interesting looking film, and Danny Boyle is kind of proving that you can shoot these low, budget digital cameras and make it look good somehow.
Yeah, they got a lot of iPhones in years. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My history is that I love the original film. I saw it in theaters, scared the shit out of me. I've always been obsessed with it. I promised on that last episode I would watch 28 Months. I still have not done that. So bummer.
You've never seen that one.
I've never
28
seen
weeks
that
later.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 28 weeks later.
Skipped months. Yeah.
That's right. That's the one holiday they don't touch. But then of course I do love years as well. But hold on, I want to follow on the thread of the look that we were just talking about. I don't think we ever talked about this. Did you guys have a DV camera, like a personal DV camera? That's kind of the format we grew up around in our teen years.
Yeah, I did have those in the 2000s. Yeah,
like handy cams and stuff with little DV tapes. Yeah, I had one of those.
Mini DV tapes. Now those would be considered retro, and they're probably like super expensive because there's limited numbers and they're a collector's item.
Well, what they're called is
cassettes to shoot on. Yeah,
right. It's something with I can't remember what the initials are, but it's a CCD sensor. And so cameras that shot on CCD sensors from the early 2000s are in vogue right now, and people are buying them and then converting them to record to a memory card. Because as long as it's the sensor, it's still going to look good as data. So people are buying those cameras and converting them to digital now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know, like Jacob, the engineer guy on Doughboys, like he raised for that film to make, and he specifically shot it on DV type. It's a look I've always detested. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, like just an ugly, ugly film. The first 28 Days Later, the ugliest film ever made, but it's so special.
No way, it's good.
Unique.
It's amazing. It's like, well, it's just funny because at the time that was considered like ugly, like digital photography just didn't look good at that time. But now that's become a retro look in the same way that, the 80s, it's 80s nostalgia, but it's like 2000s nostalgia. So people are going for that look now. Back in the day, everyone was trying to get like an SLR to shoot on because SLRs look so much better. Like
that was our college experience. It really shows you like truly the
Yep.
history of film format that we went from like DV cameras to disposable DSLRs, like you're saying.
Yeah,
VHS look was popular just prior to this, and now it's we're in the 2000s instead of the mid to
right.
late 90s.
And now you can get like a VHS filter for your Instagram or whatever.
Yes.
So
And now, and I want listeners to understand like what Mike's saying about like, oh, like 28 years later was shot on iPhones. Look it up. Like this idea that truly he went to almost like a T-Mobile and got this sleeve that he creates of like 20 that he puts on like a bandola that he like puts on a stick in front of people and like shoots these panoramic incredible slow-mos and stuff. Like he's so creative. It's just so incredible.
yeah,
It's like a portable
incredibly
Matrix rig.
interesting movie. Right.
Yeah.
Just Cillian Murphy walking around London, downtown London, just completely abandoned. If you haven't seen 28 Days Later, it's like truly a unique movie that you should watch. And sort of revitalized the zombie genre, of course, leading to Walking Dead and all these other things. But
I don't think there would be any reason to watch that first film. There's no tie-in to this universe anymore.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't seen anyone
no.
back.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
I wanted to
go
say, I appreciate, we talked about George Romero inventing the zombie genre. 28 Days Later revitalized it, kind of reinvented it with the fast zombie. I just want to say to Danny Boyle,
yes.
I appreciate that his, his trademark of having hanging dong in these movies for all three of the ones he's been involved with. I think that's why he doesn't like Weeks
dong.
Later.
Yeah. It's his whole film work.
And this movie has more hanging dong than you could ever want.
Swing a dong at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we said, though, it is not necessarily a Danny Boyle movie. He's produced this film. This is his baby, his franchise. It's an Alex Garland written film. We know him a little bit as a director. He's done Ex Machina, Dread, that Warfare film that just came out. And of course,
Civil
this is
War.
Nia DaCosta. Jacob, we talked Candyman, right? We kind of shouted her out for her rebooted Candyman film in that episode.
Marvels?
Did we do an episode on the Marvels?
We didn't talk the Marvels, but I did see
the
Marvels in theaters. Nia DaCosta is an interesting filmmaker, I think, because she has some good films in her. She came up making like some sort of indie, smaller movies and stuff, then got the Marvel bump to do the Marvels, which didn't end up well. But again, it was one of those things where she came out after and said, well, I didn't have total control. Kevin Feige has control over all these movies creatively and stuff, which other, Edgar Wright on Ant-Man, of course, that didn't work out. So now, and also the Candyman movie, I didn't love her Candyman either.
No, it's super bad. And the Marvels in particular, it's one of those films where I'm so glad you haven't seen it, Mike, because you're so close to being out on the whole MCU experience as a whole that I feel like if you saw it, it would kill your spirit. And not because it is a bad film, but it is the worst of all the tropes of those films. It is edited and micromanaged to hell, cut to death. Storylines go nowhere, bad villain, useless plot, where you're just like, oh no, like it is such a disaster. It is so uncomfortable.
My heart couldn't take it.
Yeah, it's not even a movie. Like, I kind of enjoyed it.
It's not even a movie.
It is sort of more lighthearted.
It's not even a movie. It's like
it's not even a bad movie,
essentially.
Yeah, but I personally, maybe I'm the highest on it because I didn't hate it. Like, I enjoyed watching it, but then immediately
have you ever watched
it out of my
again?
mind? No, of course not. But it's a typical MCU in that it I enjoyed it in the theater, and then as soon as I've done, it immediately leaves my mind, never to return. But it also seemed like it was made specifically to piss off the people who claim, the people that are like, oh, MCU is woke. It just leans into all the things that would specifically piss off those people. So it's kind of destined to fail, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I like some of the actors and characters in that, and it had some good comedy, but it is a more lighthearted MCU, and is really not an essential one that you need to watch for the overall plot.
If you recall, right after Secret War or Secret Invasion, I'm sorry, where it was Sam Jackson,
genuinely the worst
received
thing they've
show, and people are like,
done.
Then it's gonna tie in. It's you're gonna want to watch me, and people are like, we hate this.
Yeah, the one good thing I liked about Secret Invasion, which is genuinely one of the worst MCU things I think I've seen, is Samuel L. Jackson in that show, like actually getting to do some dramatic acting and stuff, and then to go into the Marvels where it's completely he's just there for like comedic relief and doesn't tie in at all. It's like, man, what is even the point of this? But so Nia DaCosta, sort of sidelined by the MCU, her career sort of sidelined in that way. Now bouncing back with 28 years later, following up Danny Boyle. And so yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. Real quick, did you guys rewatch 28 Years before going to see this? I did not, but I've been excited about this once they announced that it was only 6 months away, so I was really stoked.
Yeah. Okay, I actually did rewatch this recently because over the holidays I was visiting my family, and my sister, who's been wanting to see this movie, or wanting to see 28 Years Later, had not seen it yet. And so she's like, I really want to see that Boots poem is really, I heard that in the trailer. That's really creepy. Made me want to watch it. So I was like, yeah, let's check it out. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. So we watched that on, around Christmas. So like December 22nd, we watched that. And
what was her takeaway?
I thought
like it.
I think she kind of said it was different than she imagined, which I think a lot of people going in, like, they're expecting a different movie than it actually is. So she's like, it was weird. It was like different than I expected, but it wasn't bad. So she didn't hate it. But for me, I think it really held up. And I was like, damn, this is one of my favorite movies of the year. And I can't wait to talk about it next week, see where it lands on our top 10s. And that third act, again, with Dr. Kelson, incredible.
Man.
Ray Fiennes. We're going to talk about Ray Fiennes in this movie. I'm so excited.
Oh, is he in this movie?
Is he in this movie?
A little bit. So yeah, I did watch it at the end of December, so pretty recently.
Great.
I have not rewatched. How about you, Mike?
Me neither, but maybe when this is available for streaming, it'll be a neat double feature to go back to back,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when the third one comes out.
Yeah, get it greenlit.
Trilogy.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end, where we think it might go. But yeah, let's jump in. We're not on the island anymore. We're on the mainland, hanging with the Jimmies right after this.
We are back, and we are kicking into high gear. We're jumping right in because we were talking the sequel to 28 Years Later. We're talking 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. You guys are doing your best, Jimmies. I'm loving it. If you're not watching along, Jacob is rocking.
I got my best Adidas
straight up Power
tracksuit.
Ranger outfit.
Yep.
Which, of course, that look being based on Jimmy Savile, terrible monsters person, kind of dampens the effect of like, let's dress as that for Halloween or something. It's like, well, you're actually dressing as a pedophile. But
even if you're Jimmy Crystal,
Americans don't know. Yeah,
we wouldn't get it.
You've dyed your hair before, Jacob. You have long hair now. If
I should have dyed my hair.
He would immediately. You probably wouldn't even have to fight one of the fingers. He'd just be like, "Oh, Jimmy, we've been looking for you."
We have 8 fingers now.
They would make me the number one finger. Yeah, incredible character design. And first of all, we're introduced to the Jimmies, of course, at the end of the last movie in a tonal change that, like you said before, a lot of people were like, what the hell is this? And also we should talk about the difference in something I missed in this movie, which, first of all, let me say that I like this movie. I don't think it's as good as the last movie. I'll say that up top. Like it's not as good as 28 Years Later. And one of the things I mostly missed from it was the Danny Boyle editing style, the digital photography, that kind of frenetic energy that it has. This one is it's a more traditional sort of film.
Yeah.
With its cinematography and editing and all that stuff. And so to see the Jimmies come in at the end of that movie, that's totally crazy and over the top. They don't quite live up to that, but I do like them.
There's no backflipping necessarily like we saw. They're not doing flips and shit. It's a little more grounded take on these characters in this scenario. But
I really miss that editing where it's 28 Years Later, such a unique movie with its editing, with the film, the way it's
like
shot
montage style sometimes. Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to jump in with some first thoughts here, and then I definitely want yours to go along with Jacob's here. But like to go off what you're saying, Jacob, I don't know if I was prepared in the same way that I wasn't prepared for 28 Years Later, where I was like, oh, this will just be a sequel to like a zombie movie. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most interesting movie ever shot and made. Yeah. I guess going into this one, I was like, Yeah, that's what this will be too. And I can't remember, what was the trailer? Was it tied to another cool campaign thing? I think I probably only saw like one trailer, right?
Yeah, I don't even think I saw the trailer for this, and it definitely 28 years later had that incredible trailer. Again, the Boots poem, the World War One poem, or
It
whatever
was
it was.
so catchy, so cool. And I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure they emulated something, but I'm not sure what it was. But so I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I guess it'll be about those villains in the last one. And then again, we're talking like spoilers for like the whole thing. But
Yeah.
like again, my face when I'm sitting in the theater, I'm leaning in and I'm like, is he talking about Satan a bunch? Like what is happening in this movie? Like truly that I'm
yeah,
like, is this film is forgoing all that because ultimately it's going to come down to the conflict between religious fanaticism equating to cruelty and atheism equating to kindness, and these two
mm.
ideals personified by these two like paragons of virtue like clashing against each other. I'm like, wait, that's what this movie is. Like it just I'm just never ready for what this series has going for it.
And yeah,
Yeah.
to go off of that, that's what I appreciated about 28 years later. And this is like, no matter what you expect, it does something that you couldn't have imagined. And then it just ends up working. They take these weird swings. And yeah, I was just like, I really like this. I don't know if I liked it as much as 28 years, but it's close. Like, I really, really enjoyed this. And I think Nia DaCosta, while not having the
Right.
same style as Danny Boyle, she's very handheld with the jimmies and very on sticks and with gear with Kelson. You know, it's very calm kind of
Yeah.
camera moves. So she's doing something when we're spending time with each of these
It's
groups.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, vindicated her a little bit where she's coming off the Marvels. It's like, well, I didn't have total creative control, and
Is
now
this her
it's like,
best
well,
movie?
it's their best movie that I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not seen
Um,
Hedda, her most recent
right.
release with Tessa Thompson on Amazon, which seems to be a critical darling, but certainly not up for
Right.
any award fare. But this shows she can direct action. I think the viscerality of the Jimmies is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think formally, again, it's not as experimental and kind of all over the place as the last movie was. Like I said, it's more, I don't want to say it's a generic movie because it's definitely not generic, but it's a more traditional movie in the way that it's shot.
Yeah.
And even the
There is,
soundtrack. Yeah.
we have talked recently about a franchise called Avatar.
Mm,
Talked about a film called Fire and Ash.
I've heard of it.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
is a very singular franchise by a guy named James Cameron. Since then, he's had so much talk about, am I done with all this bullshit, that some asshole directors have thrown in like their hat in the rings. And like people like James Wan, who did Aquaman, is like, I would love to take over Avatar. I
Mm.
equate this to, there is one Danny Boyle. He
Right.
has a visual sense that is like crazy and out of this world. And this shows you what it would be like if someone did come in and direct an Avatar movie. Because there's also just one James Cameron. You know what I mean? It's like Nia DaCosta does an incredibly competent job, but it does not look
But she's not
anything
Danny
like
Boyle.
that last film. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not Danny Boyle.
And
There are other
I
Terminator
wonder how
sequels,
And
right.
they're crazy, Mike.
but none of them are
But I
like
wonder
James
how
Cameron.
they came to the decision of the way these movies are made. Like, yeah, Danny Boyle direct the first one, and then Nia DaCosta will direct the second one. I wonder why they decided to do that, and then Danny Boyle's coming
Yeah.
back to do the third one.
Yeah.
Which is it just very it almost reminds
And
me of the
again,
Star Wars,
it's-
Disney Star Wars, where it's like they have Ryan Johnson come in and do the middle one. It's like tonally this doesn't make any sense. Like formally and tonally, it's
It does
completely
not.
different.
And
Yeah.
we also kind of talked about on that episode, and I don't want to get into it yet. And again, spoilers, but
Mhm.
we talked about how basically this entire franchise came about because of the goodwill earned by Cillian Murphy winning an Oscar. So it's also strange too, again, spoilers, bring this whole thing back and be like, but we'll put him in a third not guaranteed film that again, this
Right.
guy who
You won't
directed
even
the first
see
one will
him
come
till
back
the end
for.
of the
And you're
second
like,
one. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
logic here is absolutely
Well,
ambitious and wild.
The
I'm loving
structure
it.
of these movies is insane because in the first movie starts with our eventual villain of the second movie where you see him as a kid, the Teletubby
Yes.
scene, the first
Mhm.
scene of
It's
that
his
movie.
story.
And then you don't see him for the rest of the movie until the end, and then in the second one he's a major character. So it's very much like you need to watch both of these movies If you just
Right.
watch this movie, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck is even happening right now?"
And when you go back and look at, like, I haven't rewatched it, but like when you think about the scenes where it's like, oh, Jimmy is coming, or they find that upside down guy with Jimmy carved into him, like the
Yes.
presence of Jimmy is there, but you don't see him until
It's
the very
foreshadowed,
end and the
yeah.
very beginning. Yeah.
But
That's something I
what
noticed in
you
my
just
my rewatch when I was watching 28 Years Later is that when they come the guy strung up in the house when Spike and his dad are out on the first time, and it says like Jimmy lives or something carved into him. Like, oh, that's some good
It's a fucking
foreshadowing.
charity. That's what he gets.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
what you said about the bridging, Jacob, of like you kind of having to watch these two movies together, this film does nothing for you in the backstory of who Spike is, what he's been through. When
No.
Dr. Kelson at the end of the movie says, Spike, I saw your face and I remembered the horrors that you have gone through and I knew I had to save you, you are for a moment like, right, but like if you just watch this movie, you wouldn't know that.
No, this movie
Right,
is very much a
yeah.
continuation of the last movie and does not explain anything that happened in the last movie. So if that was something I was thinking about sitting in the theater, like if you come into this movie and haven't seen the last one, you would be so confused. You wouldn't know who
Yeah.
the Jimmies were. You wouldn't know the backstory of
No.
the Alpha and Dr. Kelson. Like you wouldn't understand anything.
You wouldn't know that
So
Spike
it's really not a
knows
movie
him.
you can just jump into.
Yeah, you're right.
No.
You're right. And another difference with this one too is Spike is very much kind of like a passenger. Like it's about
Yes,
Jimmy and it's
gets
about Kelson and
backseated.
it's about Samson.
It is.
As a character.
Spike is not the lead of this film. And the entire time, we're talking about the whole spectrum of these things.
Yes.
But I'm truly sitting in my seat being like, so like, I bet like the halfway point is when Aaron Taylor Johnson will show up to get his son back. And then like at the last third, I'm like, well, I bet this is when Aaron Taylor Johnson will come back to get his son back. And I'm sitting and I'm like, okay, so he has the story he wants to tell. And again, I'm thrown back to literally the devil versus the angel. That is what this movie is. And I'm like, right, it's just this, I guess.
Yep.
I think, again, if you're expecting this movie to be about Spike and his continued journey, you're going to be let down a little bit. He's not, again, he is sort of put in the background as a character. And it's too bad because, he was such a great, like we all loved him
Alfie
in the last
Williams,
movie.
right?
We loved that actor. He killed it.
Yep.
And he really, held that movie together. And so then for his character to kind of be, sidelined like this, and then, but I think they were like, you know what, this Dr. Kelson character is really interesting. Maybe we could like really focus on him in this movie.
I don't mind it.
No. I mean, Ray Fiennes is doing some incredible work in this movie. We got to talk about Ray Fiennes.
We
Yeah.
do, but just to again go off what you're saying, Jacob, the ultimate conclusion I come to is like, I'm waiting for all these things. I'm waiting for all these things.
Mhm.
I'm invested in all these things because I really like this universe. I really like this world. And when I don't get them, I'm like, that's weird. But I love what I get. And that's the
Yeah.
only thing making me struggle with the little bit underneath that first movie.
I got to.
That's why I said, like, I think it's worse. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because if they can get the third one made, like, in its totality, maybe when all is said and done, it's like a masterwork. But it is weird that, like, I wanted Alfie. I was like, oh, Spiky Boy. And for that not to happen,
Spiky Boy.
to just be so
Yeah.
pleased with it, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of torn. Anyway, go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah.
And his character, like, he gets no sort of character growth in this movie, which is unfortunate because he just becomes a member of the Jimmies, and then he's like trying to escape the whole movie. But he was such a great character in the last one, where he grew and learned as a character so much, and then it's almost like he is sort of backtracks on his character because he's so like independent by the end of the movie. He goes off to sort of find himself, and then immediately he gets lumped in with these Jimmies.
It's like, what did
but
you
yeah,
think
maybe
you would find? There's crazies there. That's what your dad was saying. The people here are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think once you see the whole trilogy together, like you said, I think maybe it'll be more cohesive because, again, it's weird that first scene of the first movie, 28 years later, you meet Jimmy as a kid, you see the outbreak, don't see him for the rest of the movie until the very end. You're like, who are these crazy people coming in doing backflips? Then you see the next movie, learn about all them. And then at the end of this movie, of course, you see Cillian Murphy 28 days later.
Incredible.
He's back. Didn't see Naomi
But
Harris, but
who
knows what
I can't wait. I can't wait to find all this. But
Yeah.
to dissect, just to backtrack a little bit, Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
the first film, 28 years later, opens with this scene at a church, this whole thing that you're describing, this Jimmy origin story or whatever. That scene is described in this film. It is not shown in the cheap filmmaking tactics of flashbacks. All the easy things like that are not done. And then one guy goes, "No, you're not remembering it correctly." Like he calls out that the character doesn't understand the memory that he has. I mean, that's like,
but you can understand
that is this. I like how the storytelling is done in this franchise. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that scene, seeing that the trauma of what this kid went through the outbreak, of course he would have some kind of, brain problem where he's insane and is talking to Satan, because of course that's like the most traumatic thing to ever happen when you're a kid. And then you grow up in this sort of zombie apocalypse. Of course you're going to have something wrong with you. And I guess we'll have to see with the third one, because I think hopefully it'll all wrap up together.
It has to be called Memento Mori, though.
Well, here's what it has to be.
Memento Mori.
But they described, so they knew they wanted to do 3 of them. I think Nia DaCosta said in an interview, she's like, all right, well, 28 years later is about the nature of family. 28 years later, the Bone Temple is about the nature of evil. And whatever, Memento Mori, whatever that one would be, is about the nature of redemption. And so maybe by the time we get to the end of that, we can speculate on what that might be. Yeah. But they do have a clear theme for each of these. And maybe that's why it's like, nope, Spike's not in this one. We're not telling that story. We're telling good versus evil. And then we'll get back to that later.
But he is in it. He's just sort of sidelined. But
it's like if you watch Lord of the Rings, and then in Two Towers, Frodo and Sam just kind of don't talk that much. And then at the very end.
What if there was an episode of Star Wars where Luke Skywalker was a slave the whole time? You're like, that would be so startling. Like, it would be so crazy.
Yeah, but I'm satisfied with this movie, even though like my main character, Spiky Boy, very early on, it's like, oh well, I guess this isn't about him. But I still like this movie a lot. I guess I'll say at the very beginning of the movie, because it opens with Spiky Boy. He's in a pool, right? Like literally an empty swimming pool, this kind of Satan baptism, right? Like you got to kill one of the fingers if you want to join the fingers, or we're going to kill you. It's a fight to the death, Spiky Boy. And he has to do this kind of blood ritual. And I think that's a good way to establish, like, if I was him, I would be like, I can't like run away. Like these guys, they're just going to murder me. Like I get why maybe he is so reserved, because this is like a level of cruelty. He's used to the infected doing violence, but he's not used to this level of human on human violence, and maybe that's why he feels disempowered. So I buy that for the narrative.
There's some really crazy stuff in this movie, like with the Jimmies, like some really dark stuff, and that's what's so crazy to me. Like at the end of the last movie, these guys come in and they're kind of backflipping. It's all comedic, zany and stuff. I didn't expect them to be so evil and so. I didn't expect him to be like Satanists, first of all. That's interesting. And of course, so Jimmy, Sir Jimmy Crystal, Jack O'Connell, the main Jimmy, is
Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal.
Yes, it's Lord essentially Jimmy. A Sir Lord. Yes, he's a Sir Lord.
Yeah.
Now let's see. This is a supernatural horror movie with Jack O'Connell as the villain. Have we done a podcast on anything like that recently?
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Next week. Only if there's a building that catches fire. That's the only thing that rings a bell.
Right.
And you don't want to invite him into your house.
I mean, is this guy Hollywood's number one baddie right now? Is he having like the ultimate, like sort of like Willem Dafoe in the 90s career?
Yeah, another Skins alumni, as I mentioned before. All these great actors coming out of Skins. These British actors.
I'm gonna get Gary Oldman.
But that was
who's the biggest Skins villain in movies this year? Lex Luthor or Sir Jimmy Crystal?
Oh, Sir Jimmy Crystal, Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, I'd say.
Sir Jimmy Crystal.
Yeah.
How are you? What do they say again? How are you?
How's that? So essentially you have Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, who is a cult leader. Essentially, he has a cult of Jimmy's, his 7 fingers that create a fist, and he's got this whole mythology sort of in his mind where he talks to Satan, his father. He's the son of Satan, and he sort of imparts his wisdom to his fingers. And so there's 7, disciples, essentially to get into the Jimmies, you have to fight to the death one of the other Jimmies, and if you can kill them, then you can take their place. That's kind of, and they seem to just go around looking for survivors in this zombie apocalypse, and then doing their charity to them and basically torturing and killing them in the name of Satan. So,
And
pretty crazy stuff.
From the first movie, we know that Jimmy's dad was the priest, and when he goes into his dad's like, "No, this is this is like the end times. This is great." And he sees his dad get killed by the infected, which to him, he's like, "Oh, these are demons," and my dad was Satan. And I'm like, now we just have to spread evil because that's what my dad
the army
would want.
Of demons.
Yeah.
It's insane how much like sense that it makes once you realize like what the kid went through and how he sort of twisted that in his mind to what it is now.
He's probably hearing voices, schizophrenia or something.
Yeah.
When you think again about like the argument that we made in the first episode, I keep saying first episode as if this is a TV show. the previous film for this film series.
The first movie, the first film in this trilogy, which is the third film in the franchise.
Yes.
How's that?
How's that?
Jacob, how's that? Don't blow my mind right now, Jimmy Jacob.
But yes.
When we argued in that film that Aaron Taylor Johnson is not the bad guy, he is the antagonist at moments for that film because he is cheating on the mother, yes. But when you look at the captive moment that film portrays, that it's like he was probably a teenager in 2002 when that outbreak happened. Here we are 20 years later. He has not grown. He does not understand the world. Again, that this whole film franchise reflects like these people were captured in this moment. You transform in this time in between. What do you become? We have Jimmy Crystal, Jacob, exactly what you're saying. The rationalization of like, if you saw that as a kid, 20 years later, you'd be like, well, this is exactly what that was. And somebody listening would be like, oh, ugh. Or if you're Dr. Kelson, you fucking say things like when somebody asks you, do you remember the 4 times?
Yeah.
You're like, I pictures of it and I sing Duran Duran songs because that's probably what I liked in that era. You know what I mean? It's like that's when I was stunted
the older you were
20 years later.
Yeah. The older you were when it happened, the more you're likely to remember, because he says like, yeah, I remember details and stuff, but as far as like living in a society, like it's hard to remember that because it's been so long.
Common courtesy is lost.
But we should I want to talk about this because essentially this movie is actually 2 movies that kind of come together at the end. And so we have the movie of the Jimmies going around doing terrible things, and then we also have the Dr. Kelson movie, Dr. Kelson and Samson, and sort of their journey together, which is to me such an interesting plot that I've never really seen in a zombie movie like this, where you have this great character, Dr. Kelson, who's like, what if I could what if I could cure Samson, and such an interesting
I'm thinking about taking a break from my big art project, which is building a city of bones for the dead.
Right.
And you're like, what are you going to do with your time? He's like, I'm going to fix this thing.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kelson, we met him in the last movie. Really a standout of that movie to all of us. I think like we were all so interested in this character of Dr. Kelson. Is Ralph Fiennes, is this character one of the best characters we've had in like the 2020s, I think.
Yes.
Like I think it's him, I think it's Spider. Who else?
Yeah, go on.
Keep going. Keep going. Miles Quaritch, I would also put on that list.
Sure.
Unfortunately,
got Lydia Tarr from the movie Tar.
Yes, keep going.
I'm just thinking of great characters the last 5 years, but Dr. Kelson,
they are.
And when we saw the trailers and stuff for 28 years later, we're like, I thought like, Ralph Fiennes, here's the villain of
That's
the
what
movie.
I thought too.
He's in this temple of bones. He's this sort of scary looking bald guy who's got red, covered in red orange paint or whatever. Like,
oh, hello.
He looks like some kind of crazy
the ultimate
villain.
sad thing happening to you. I'm a gentleman. Let's discuss it. And the whole time you're like, what?
Yeah. So the twist is like he's the most logical and kind and gentle doctor you could ever imagine, who's living in this wasteland, who's somehow kept his humanity to the point where he's like the most rational person you could ever imagine seeing in this sort of wasteland where everyone's insane.
Yeah, and his perspective on the infected is just that. You know, everybody gets mad when people say, "Oh, the zombies in 28 days," because they're technically not, even though they use the word. But he looks at the infected as patients because he's a doctor. He still sees the humanity in them. And so to go from Samson just making big dick jokes, you know, in the previous one, like, oh, there's this big monster guy, to having like this entire arc of this alpha regaining humanity through with Kelson, it's incredible. It's incredible.
So he's the only person to look at Samson and see not a monster, but actually a person who needs cured, like you're saying.
A person
with a disease. Yeah. And it's such an interesting take on zombies, where we come from something like The Walking Dead, where it's like, oh, the zombies are just inanimate sort of monsters that need to be killed. Like they're just killing machines and they just will not stop unless you put them down, basically, to where we have the rage virus. There actually still has some humanity. And we saw in the last film, of course, with the birth scene and all this stuff, where it's like the rage virus giving birth, and then you get a healthy baby, right? And so we see some signs that maybe it's not, their humanity is not completely gone. But Dr. Kelson is the only one to be like, maybe I can cure this or somehow alleviate the pain.
The question is, does it override your brain or does it fog it or something? He says.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And he comes at it from such a logical point of view as a doctor and being like, well, we need to treat, you know, what if it's all, there's a psychiatric component. What if we can treat that psychosis that clouds your mind? Incredible. Yeah.
It's just incredible. And like the slow kind of burn of it too, where basically Samson's like just gets addicted to drugs kind of, and he'll just show up real mad outside the camp just to get morphine, and slowly
Can I say something? Here's what I think. I think you're addicted to morphine. And he like lays it out the whole time. You're like, yeah, that makes absolute sense. That's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
When I realized that's what they're doing, because of course in the last movie we see him shoot the dart at Samson to sedate him. Samson's facing Spike and his mother. He's like, yes, I've named this one Samson. As you see, he's an alpha. I've come to know him very well. And then we see in this one, he's been tranked so many times at this point that he keeps coming back because he's like, let me get some of that good.
Yeah.
He literally just like gestures, like shoot me with the dart. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
He even will show up with like arrows in him sometimes. Like he knows he's getting treatment on some level too. Like it's this very interesting way they approach this idea.
And then Dr. Kelson almost treating it like an experiment of like, you know, what can I, you know, is this guy going to rage out on me? Can I get him to approach me without shooting him and that kind of thing? And the whole, Samson and Dr. Kelson arc of this movie, it almost reminds me of Frankenstein, where it's like, he's trying to get this thing to speak, you know, he's like, show some sign of like sentience. Like just, if you just would say a word, it would just mean everything to me, you know?
Jacob, if he was Oscar Isaacs, he would scream at him if he just kept saying
the
same word over and over.
Victor.
Moon.
I want to say real quick, just to backtrack for just 1 second to the gigantic penis comment that you made.
Oh yeah.
On this alpha, which of course Samson does. God bless him.
God did bless him.
Of course, get to see. God did bless him. In fact. We do get to see Dr. Kelson's little beta penis as he gets this scene where he goes down to his bunker and takes all his clothes off. And we get like who he is. We did not get this in the last.
We sort of see his daily routine.
Yeah. Of like, he was like Cillian Murphy's age when this thing happened.
He had
you know what I
wife.
mean? He was just like a young guy. Yeah.
It was 28 years ago.
Yeah. 28 years later ago.
That's how long.
Yeah. He was, you know, Ray Fiennes in the 2000s age, I guess. And yeah, we see like, oh yeah, he loves Duran Duran. He loves listening to his records. And yeah, we see like his daily life where he, you know, strips down, he puts on the iodine on his skin and all this stuff. And you see, this is how this guy has lived for so long alone.
Mm-hmm.
But he's somehow kept his sanity.
again, it's such a beautiful message on POV. Like we even got the joke in the last film of like when people like Aaron Taylor Johnson being like, "Oh, I saw that Mad Doctor once. He's a maniac. He waved at me in his like
The smell
crazy
of
suit
death.
that he wears, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like no matter how he came across that movie, even when he's gentle, he still looks insane to Spike. But like now, from his point of view, you see so clearly the man that he is, what he's stuck on, why he thinks like this is his mission or whatever. And I've said my issue before that I cannot hear things in movie theaters anymore. So I'm constantly like leaning in and like I need subtitles as I do when I watch everything. But
Mhm.
when he's saying girls on film and kind of mumbling that to himself. Again, I don't know anything about this movie, no trailers and stuff, and I'm like, he sang a Duran Duran song to him? Does that make sense? And then girls on film, and it keeps going. Then Rio later, all these Duran Duran, you're just like the
Ordinary
personality
World.
that showcases of who he is. It's such a fucking incredible choice. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got his little record collection. It kind of keeps him sane. And then these scenes with Samson where he's like, "Oh, you just want a bit of
Oh,
peace and respite. There's nothing wrong with that. Peace and
oh,
respite, right?"
oh.
Um,
Drugs
and
calm
Yeah.
you down. That's good.
he takes a little of the morphine himself, and he's just
Yeah.
that scene where he's just laying there with
Yo.
Samson, like
Oh,
incredible,
yes.
incredible.
And I've gone through every cupboard. This is all we've got, but we're doing it, baby. We're
He's
good.
running out of
No.
morphine. That's the problem, is that he gets hooked. He
Yeah.
gets Samson hooked on morphine, but he's
Yeah.
slowly running out of morphine in the world, basically.
Which that's our ticking clock, I guess.
But the way he just explains everything so sort of matter of factly and so calmly, like, what an incredible character. Like, I love this character.
Yeah, the way he's like, I don't know if my words reach you, if they would have much meaning, even if they did, Samson, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing.
But if you spoke, it would be lovely. He just keeps saying it would be the
Yeah.
loveliest thing to ever occur.
I'm like, you do get the sense that he's kind of over it. Like, he's getting tired, because when he does just do drugs with Samson, then he gets up the next day, he's like, all attached. He's like, I didn't know if I was going to live through that, I kind of didn't care.
That was the big gamble of like, yeah, hopefully Samson doesn't rip my head off.
But if
he's
he does,
doing more and
fuck
more
it, it
experiments
is-
to see, like, yeah. He's like, am I safe here to lie with Samson a bit and just stare at the moon? Yeah.
And this is a great scene because in the previous film, we realized that Isla, Spike's mom, she has cancer, and like, you can't treat that now. And so he's like, I need consent to, I can put you, I can euthanize you, give me consent.
Yes,
And he's
as a
asking,
doctor.
he's saying to Samson, I wish you could give me consent. I could give you
There's
peace
some way-
forever. Just say
Yeah.
anything, And then
It's almost like
Yeah.
he's talking to Samson the way you would, almost like the way I would talk to a dog, where I'm like, can you understand what I'm saying? Like,
If
I'm
you could
talking,
speak.
like, do you
You
understand the
dream.
words I'm saying, or do you just understand like the tone of my voice?
Yeah.
Memories.
Can I teach you to understand what I'm saying? It's like he almost understands, but he can't really quite tell. And then we see, among his books and things in his little home, he has a book about the medical ethics and stuff. So it's something he still cares about as a doctor, being like, if there's some way you could give consent, I could give you an everlasting peace by basically euthanizing you because you have this terrible disease that makes you rage out all the time, and probably like he's understanding like you're probably in like a great amount of pain, and he's trying to alleviate that pain that exists from the rage clouding his mind 24/7, right?
Yeah, and you see scenes where like they're sitting in the rain, and he maybe while he's morphined up, like he responds by like turning his hand over to feel the rain, or you see him wandering around in the woods morphined out, and it's like peaceful for like a little bit. Like it's just he's looking at leaves,
Right?
And it's great, and it's like, man,
Can you imagine if in a fantasy, if in Game of Thrones, they were like, "Oh, beautiful dragon, you've calmed down. You seem to like this heroin. Come to me, dragon. We'll lay in the field and shoot up heroin together." It's like it's
Train
so like
spotting,
it's such an otherworldly ideal. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike,
Train
he's
spotting,
going back
Danny
to his
Boyle.
roots.
yep,
Yeah.
drug addict movies.
Yeah, Danny Boyle is such an interesting career. Again, we talked about in the last movie, like he's had some really great movies, but also some movies that I think are like some of the worst movies, like Yesterday, the movie where everyone forgets about the Beatles in the world except for one guy.
Oh, I
One
forgot
of the
about
worst
that.
movies I've ever seen.
One
But
of the
he also has
worst.
great movies like Trainspotting and 28 Days Later and stuff. So it's hard to
Slumdog.
classify. Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, but this
Um,
relationship with Samson, like they're dancing in the field, like this is like you would never expect that. The same way you wouldn't have expected this kind of I made an ossuary. It's a monument to death in the previous one. Like it
yeah,
comes out, you don't really expect it, but it lands so well. Like it hits so hard.
it
What is
it really
this? It's an
flips your
ossuary.
expectations.
It's like
Yeah,
a graveyard.
because again, the imagery and the
It says
marketing
that later, Mike.
Yeah.
of the last movie, the imagery and the marketing, right, of the skulls, the bone temple, like you said, it's a tower of skulls, of human skulls, and to that, that image evokes, something frightening to us, where we think, oh, it's some kind of villain who's stacking these skulls, and these
Mm-hmm.
bones. He's making a bone temple. But then the twist is, of course, that he's making ossuary, a memorial to the dead, and he's honoring the dead. He's trying to give them some kind of dignity. Um, is
Mm-hmm.
such an incredible like twist on our expectations. That's what I loved about the first movie too. So
We're all going to be gone. Eventually, this is going to be a thing where the island of England, all life of it is dead. This is the thing I have made that the rest of the culture of the world will be like, ugh, like that's,
yeah,
I mean, that's a physical representation. We cannot hide from the toll and the
right.
carnage that we allowed to sort of like occur on this island. We didn't intercede. Clearly didn't come up with some sort of cure that they can, bomb down on the island or, save
No, they
people
just
with. Again,
quarantine the island forever
yeah,
for
I don't
the
know what
outside
28
world.
weeks later talks about,
Yeah,
but
I
all
know.
that garbage with the
But
Essentially,
eyes that you
28
guys
weeks.
said. No.
Yeah, 28 weeks later, the Americans try to come over and fix it. They ended up fucking it up worse than ever, America style.
Classic.
And then they're like, okay, I guess we're going
He's
to
been nice.
firebomb all of England. That doesn't work, but they do stop the spread from leaving England. So they just contain it to the island of England, but they just quarantine that forever. And then essentially, like we see with the Swedish guys, if your boat crashes and you land on the shores of England, then you have to stay there forever. Like you cannot leave because it's a quarantine zone.
Yeah.
Exiled.
But yeah, to see the way he sees humanity and the affected, like he's honoring the dead and death is a natural part of life. And then we talked about the island where Spike's from. They fear death. They're scared of the infected. They do not want to die. Like it's the diametrically opposed
Right.
views on death is what the first movie was. And to get to see the payoff for
Yeah.
Samson now, like I would be so mad for that actor, lewis-parry, because the previous movie, everyone's just like, did you see his dick? Did you see Samson's dick? But then they're like, there's so much performance he's doing in this movie that nobody knew about. And that's all people want to talk
Yeah.
about. It, like what a good job he does in this too. I wanted to highlight the Samson
His
arc.
eyes. He does it
incredible.
all
Yeah.
with his eyes. Up until the end when he says literally a full sentence like, "Hey doc, we got to get out of here." I was
well,
like,
I
"Ah!"
I didn't have a ticket.
Dr. Pilson,
Yeah,
we
on the
gotta
train
go. It's
scene.
time. Let's get on the helicopter.
yeah.
But in the last movie, you already see some of his humanity with, again, the giving birth, the zombie that's giving birth to a human baby. It's sort of implied that that's the alpha's baby, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you have Spike's mom sort of seeing the humanity in this
Push.
mother giving birth. Yeah, in that shared moment of motherhood. And then you have the alpha coming in, and I think it's sort of implied that that's the alpha's
That's
child,
what I was thinking
right?
too. And like to not get
Yeah.
too ahead, but like by the end of this, yeah, Samson does speak and he's like basically
Yeah.
cured, right? So my
He's
question
cured.
is,
Yeah, it seems like.
does Samson in the next one, not to go too far, but does he get to reunite with his daughter, who is named Isla, who lives with Aaron Taylor Johnson now?
Ah.
All right.
That would be crazy.
Mike, I
Yeah,
forgot
it will be
that.
interesting. Me too. Me too.
Isla.
That would be
Will Samson
incredible.
in the
Meet
next
his
movie
daughter.
will Samson like meet his daughter or just be a big part of the film as a cured
Dr.
rage
Pilson, I'm back.
zombie?
I'm normal.
I want more of
need some
this.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that
My
medical
dick
stuff you
is
told me
out.
about?
It's horrible. What's going on here?
But you see,
By
as
the
he
way,
gains
I
more
am
and more,
still hooked
uh,
on morphine.
Yes.
yeah. But as he gains more sentience and more humanity throughout the movie, he starts like he's wearing clothes.
He puts
like
pants on.
He has like a garment wrapped around him, so he's not hanging dong anymore because he's sort of understanding like, oh, humans wear clothes or whatever, and he's like sort of bathing in the river.
Yes.
And he's gaining his humanity back over time. It's incredible.
Especially after 3 of these movies where we are desensitized, like, oh, it's just the infected. You got to kill him. You got to kill him. To see just the biggest, scariest one have this kind of tender vulnerability and just you're rooting for him so hard to come back, even though he's killed people and
Yeah.
does Mortal Kombat fatalities. Like, how do you pull that off? Storytelling wise, like that you
Right.
root for this literal monster that they created.
When we see, even in this movie, we kind of see through his eyes where it's like, oh, the rage virus makes you see like humans as some kind of monsters that you must kill. That's why they rage out at them, because what they're seeing is warping their perspective to like, oh, I have to kill this. Because when he's killing the one guy in the beginning, he's like, it kind of flashes and he sees like a monster or something.
Scary
He's
looking
like, I have
guy,
to kill it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that psychosis. So you cure the brain fog, you still have your humanity underneath the fog. So if you can cure
bullied
that,
on a train, bullied on a train. Ah!
I don't have a ticket.
Yeah, what do you think of the train? Like as he's finally is kind of like going to places he remembered or scenarios like that.
And the way
like
the
the young
train ties
actor,
back, yeah, is incredible, because that's the same train that the lady gave birth on and stuff. So he goes back to the train, he sits in the
his
seat.
area, yeah.
Yep.
He's starting to remember stuff, and then you see that he's looking at a book as a kid about the moon. So the moon kind of is what he's gazing at, the moon, and he says moon.
Yep.
And when he first speaks, it's almost as shocking as it's almost as shocking as when Caesar first speaks, right, in the Planet of the Apes, where he says no or whatever, and everyone's like losing their mind.
Samson is home.
Samson is home. That's right.
He says, Dr. Kelson, I'm not sick anymore. Oh no. Oh,
he does. He essentially does. Yeah.
I'm not sick
Literally,
anymore.
the last line of the film is basically Dr. Kelson, I'm not sick anymore.
Oh yeah, then Dr. Kelson says, no shit.
No shit.
No shit.
Yes, the two greatest characters in American fiction, Dr. Kelson and the Spider.
Standing.
I don't know if we can call it Kelson American fiction, but modern fiction.
True, British fiction. Yeah. So we have these two movies. So we have this movie about Dr. Kelson trying to cure Samson in his journey, and then juxtaposed, we have the Jimmies doing the most fucked up shit you could possibly imagine.
So we talked about the ritual is you have to pick a finger, then you are jumped in. He picks this one who's the skinny crazy guy. He gets his ass kicked basically the whole time, but Spike gets a lucky move,
just taunting
stabs him.
Yeah.
He caught one of your orteros. What does Jimmy Inc. call it? He like says arteries wrong, right?
Yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce arteries.
This is the first scene in the movie, so it jumps right in. It's like just it's
15 minutes after 28. Yeah, like they walk down the road. Yeah,
they're all in like this gymnasium or something.
We're not going to talk about who Jimmy Crystal is. We're not going to explain any of this. It's just here's a kid
thrown into the action
by a gang of weirdos in blonde wigs.
Yeah, they're bullying him. This kid is just like taunting him with this knife and stuff. He's like, "Come on, I can do this all day." Like you said, Spike gets a lucky shot, stabs him in the leg, the inner thigh. Now, what you want to do in this situation is not pull the knife out, because actually that's going to make it worse and make you bleed out, right? So, but the kid doesn't know that. So he pulls the knife out, and that's essentially what kills him, because with that stab right in the artery, like you said, he's just bleeding out. And then we have to watch this scene of this kid slowly bleeding out while, the rest of Jimmy's like, well, you're fucked, man. Like, sorry, like you're about to die.
That's why I buy Jimmy, Spike, like, being so scared, because it's established like, okay, even if you get like mortally wounded, none of these people are your friends. They're not going to help you. They're not helping him.
No.
The Jimmy's not stopping it. It's like they make him watch. People. They make him watch. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And Jimmy, Sir Lord Jimmy is like, so what, you're getting a little hungry? No, you're getting sleepy, I see. And then the guy just bleeds out and dies.
And his wig kind of falls off.
What would you have me do? Yeah.
And you see that he's just a kid. Yeah, and then they throw the wig at Spike. Oh, what's your name, lad? Spike? No, I don't think so.
I think it's
Jimmy. I think it's Jimmy. So real quick, we have Erin Kellyman, probably the biggest actress here, as the good Jimmy. That is Jimmy Inc. Then we've got Emma Laird as Jemima. Sam Locke is Jimmy Fox, the one who dies.
Yeah. Okay.
Robert Rhodes as Jimmy, and Ghazi Al-Rufia as Jimmy Snake.
So, okay.
Jimmy Snake.
Jimmy Shite, Jimmy Jones, Shite. Jimmy Snake, Jimmy.
We got all these Jimmys.
Jimmy.
Yeah, of course, Erin Kellyman. An actress I never really liked that much and stuff. Yeah, obviously our favorite show, Willow. that you can't watch anymore.
It doesn't exist.
Get
Never
back.
existed.
Put it on physical, you
How dare you.
fuckers.
Yeah.
But I've never liked her that much, but I
Solo?
thought she was good in this movie.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Solo.
I like her the
She
most in
plays
this
the
so far.
Cloud Rider.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Forgot about that. Forgot about
Your
that movie.
favorite Star Wars character, Mike. You didn't forget. You
My
love
favorite
the
Star Wars
Cloud
character is Woody
Rider.
Harrelson. I like Woody
The
Harrelson.
Winter Soldier,
It's-
Falcon
Yeah,
and the Winter
say
Soldier.
his name. Say his name real quick.
Glup Shido, the second.
Yeah, Space
Shido.
Cowboy Glup Shido, of course.
Yeah.
But she's
like
really
her
good in this because
Jimmy Ink.
yeah,
I'm
and
pretty
she's
sure
kind of
his name is
having
Beckett.
the one Jimmy that's like, hey, this is kind of like fucked up, and sort of looking out for the kids, Spike, and like, oh, this is like a fucked up situation that we're in, like thinking about kind of leaving too, and like, oh, is Sir Lord Jimmy, is he full of shite? Like, is he making this up? Like, is he really
he
talking
taking
to
a
his
piss?
dad, Satan? Yeah. Is he taking the piss? Yeah.
Yeah, so she kind of has some reservations. The other Jimmys more or less are locked in. I thought Jemima was very scary. We'll talk more about her as
Yes.
we go along. But
It's
very good
amazing that he was able
performance.
to find so many like insane people to be his cult members.
Who would you guys have picked to challenge as a finger?
Ooh.
Obviously Spike, but he wasn't
Spike
in
if
the
I
room
would
at
have
the
saw him
time, so-
outside.
Yeah, I'll kill that little
Look,
kid.
you guys-
that one.
I'll take the kid. That's
Yeah.
right. I'm just wallop him, just fucking punch him through a wall. He's so much bigger.
Yep. All right. New finger.
It
Sign me up.
sucks, but I probably would pick one of the women, right? And then immediately get
Well, that's the
tricked
twist,
by Jemima
right?
being
Yeah.
the craziest.
That's why
Mima
that scene
looking
is so
the
great.
the easiest to beat, right? So the kid picks her.
Yeah.
But we're jumping ahead a little bit. Let's talk about. So
Yeah.
we see like 3 survivors out in the wilderness. One gets basically overrun by the zombies because they're trying to be quiet and stuff. They have these spear things. So one gets killed. 2 of them come back to their little village or wherever where they're hiding out.
Mhm.
Like, oh, sorry, bad news. The other guy got killed, and then immediately the person there is like, oh, we've got company. We got bigger problems now. We got company. We have the Jimmies who have forced their way in and are sitting eating a meal at their table, right?
Yeah. This is a crazy scene. It's like
Yeah.
just seeing that this is played out. How many times he's telling the stories about Teletubbies? Like it feels like on the surface like a regular conversation, but this is where you get the Jimmies like, "How's that?" and they echo, "How's that?" and they laugh at
How's
all
that?
of Jimmy's jokes. Like you just see the kind of fealty that they
And there's
have
so
to
much.
give to him.
Gary Kellerman
Yeah.
later is like, I've heard that fucking story 8 times.
Yeah,
Yeah. He loves
Fucking
talking
apples.
about Teletubbies. There's so much tension in this scene though, because these survivors are just sitting there like thinking like, oh, this cannot be good. Like this guy is insane. Are they gonna kill us all? And then eventually he's like, well, yeah, we are gonna leave after we murder all of you and torture you. Of course, we will be doing that pretty soon here.
Charity.
Yeah.
Why don't you do a Teletubby dance
so this
first,
group-
which is scary.
Yeah.
Do the dipsy do.
Um,
Dipsy do, da 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 do.
Man,
you've never seen the Teletubbies. They
Jack
have
O'Connell
TVs in
is
their stomachs.
Dying. He's like, this is great.
Mhm.
Yeah. But this one, reminds me like watching The Walking Dead and these zombie shows where he's like every community you come across has some weird quirk. Like you have Negan and people who go around like they're just insane psychopaths, right? And that's kind of what
Mhm.
Jimmy is, where he's going into these communities, finding people and then just torturing them in the name of Satan because he thinks old Nick, his father, would like to hear the screams of
The screams,
agony.
old Nick, music to his ears, old Nick. Yeah,
Yeah. He's just a full-on Satanist.
yeah. It reminded me of
Yeah.
it sort of felt like this tension of the opening of Inglourious Bastards. It's like I don't want you at my table. Like I know it's bad news
Yeah.
for me that
I'm
you're
being
even
polite,
sitting here.
but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm going along with it because I know like one thing can like
Yeah.
set
Set
you
you
off
off.
and like
Set you
shit'll
off.
get real.
bomb under the table kind of thing. Yeah.
So they're sort of reluctantly feeding the Jimmies, and they're just hoping to get out of this and like they'll leave in peace and like not do anything bad. But of course, Jimmy's like, "Yeah, we're gonna kill you all. Like, don't worry about that."
I appreciate the guy at least trying to throw the boiling water and fight back. Ultimately, it's useless, but I like the effort because you've done something
Yeah.
similar in such a situation.
So we have the one woman and the guy that come back from being outside, And so this woman is interesting. She kind of escapes. The rest of the
Pregnant woman.
survivors,
Yeah.
yes,
she's
pregnant woman, and the rest
In
of
the
them
chaos,
are
she runs out.
grabbed
Yeah.
by the Jimmies. Yeah, they grab the rest of them, string them up in the barn, and this is the crazy scene where you have you have Jimmy sort of explaining his philosophy of Satan and stuff, and like, oh, we'll give you charity now, the charity of the removing of the shirt, which essentially means they're going to skin them alive, remove their
from
chest.
waist up. Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I saw somebody positing like that there's a theory, hypothesis, the charity here is like a metaphor because Jimmy Savile would use charitable donations to kind of earn favor in public to get away with his monstrous deeds. So like this twisted charity could be like a big metaphor of that.
Charity.
Yeah, and again, the whole Sir Jimmy's whole sort of persona is built on the pop cultural references he was watching in 2002, which was Teletubbies and Jimmy Savile. So he bases his whole identity off of this, which leads to this insanity.
And then it's because his dad was a priest, he's also looking at the teachings of the Church of Charity. But if I was going to do it in a Satanistic way, it's probably causing suffering than being kind, obviously.
Right. Right.
Yeah, this scene was horrifying. Like, if you wanted gore and you didn't think you got it in the last movie, holy
this
shit.
is some really dark shit. Like,
so we get the
really dark shit. Yeah.
We get the physical violence here, and then we get the challenging of the Jimmies, and then Jemima is chosen, and we get this sort of standoff, and then we get the physical brutality of the hook to her head, which is this very long, drawn out moment of violence that really leaves you squirming. Yeah.
So essentially, they have the survivors strung up. They skin like three of them from the waist up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they leave the boy alive, who was the other one that was out in the woods at the beginning.
You could make a good Jimmy. You got the looks of a Jimmy.
I need strong fingers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's like, you can become a Jimmy. I can either kill you now, we could give you charity, or you can choose one of the Jimmies to best in combat, and if you kill them, you can take their place as a Jimmy. That's your basically only chance to stay alive. And so he says, so he looks over at the Jimmies and he sees the girl Jimmy, who's kind of like acting very meek and stuff. And he's like, well, I guess I'll choose that one. Turns out she's one of the craziest ones there is, and she's kind of doing that on purpose because she wants to fight him because she's just insane. And then of course we have the pregnant woman who escaped. She's kind of hiding in the loft of the barn, looking at all of this, kind of planning like maybe she can do something. And of course she's the one who kills Jemima with the hook.
The dart. Oh yes, the hook thing. Yeah.
But
so essentially Jemima fights this kid. This kid chooses Jemima. Immediately he's like, oh, I kind of fucked up, because she's like completely owning him, like
playing with her food. Yeah, she's owning him.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah. But then she suddenly starts. She kind of does like a trip, and then she just starts rambling, and you're like, "Ooh, this is scary." And then it's revealed she's got brain damage.
Well, she's like on top of him. She's about to like remove his pants, so she's about to like skin him from the waist down. It seems like, and then there's an impact, and then she starts like kind of going crazy. But you only see her from the front for like a really long time, and then you realize, oh, she has like a giant hook in the back of her skull. And that's the pregnant woman. Immediately, chaos kind of breaks out of the barn.
Goes off. Yeah.
Yeah. So the kid kind of scoots over to a propane tank or something, lights it on fire, and is using it as a flamethrower, and just lighting up the whole barn. Shit is going crazy. Like, the barn is burning down. One of the Jimmies is on fire, running around, and the pregnant woman kind of escapes. Jimmy is like, young Jimmy, Spike, go get her and bring her back. In this scene, again, when Spike sort of goes after this woman and is like,
he draws his bow on her.
Take me with you.
But he has to make that choice. He makes that choice.
Yeah.
He does. He does. Real quick. Not to pause on this moment too much, but just fun Spike as Jimmy stuff real quick. When he's at the table with the people, he's the only one who says thank you when the family gives him the food. And when they go around and give all their names, he goes, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy. Continue. He's holding up.
He's still acclimating to being a Jimmy, but he's kind of forced in the situation because he's at various times he does try to escape, but it's like, he can't.
Well, and here he has a breakdown. He's holding this woman at gunpoint, essentially, at arrow point. Says, "Please take me with you. Let me escape with you. I don't want to be a Jimmy." And she's like, "What?"
And this is sort of a great twist where she's like, okay, and then she kind of comes over and you think, oh, maybe he will go with this lady and like they'll go off on their own. And she immediately kind of like punches him in the stomach and runs away. So it's like a twist. Like she's like, no, fuck you. Like you're with the Jimmies. I'm not taking you. Like you're with these evil
How can I
people.
trust you? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was wondering, is Spike kind of being reminded of his mother in this scene where he's seeing this pregnant woman? He's like,
I think so.
She reminds me of my mother.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And like, oh, if they did go, we're gonna have a similar arc to the second half of that first movie. But yeah, she wouldn't trust him, not after what she saw in that barn. So
no, a bunch of insane Satanists. But like he's just
Skin my
he's just a
family
little
life.
kid. Like she doesn't know his
But
backstory.
clearly,
though, and-
I'm not in charge of. I'm not the one pulling the strings here.
But what if that's their
Yeah.
thing? They have little Jimmy who's cute, bait you. Oh, I'll go with you, and then you never know, right? Like you couldn't trust that.
Can't trust
take
him.
me to the others?
I do like Jimmy Inc. when they're outside once the barn fire is starting. She's like, "That's not normal screaming,
like
right?"
normal
I mean, there's always screaming with charity,
I'm just I'm always overthinking stuff. So actually, I'm just gonna like let Jimmy have his fun. I really like that,
Yeah.
Mike. That's been really good.
Actually, no, that's
scene,
not
yeah, they're-
normal screaming.
Because Spike kind of runs out of the barn and throws up because of all
yeah.
this crazy shit that's happening. He
Which
can't
is why
handle it.
he's
like,
not
I can't do
chosen.
this.
Because otherwise,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
would choose Spike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what the other Jimmy says later that tries to kill him.
Jemima was
and-
my best friend. Like, fucking
Right.
Yeah.
die, you fucking fingers. Get out of here.
But yeah, Jimmy Inc. is like the only one that takes sympathy on Spike and be like, this is a little fucked up what we're making this kid go
He's a
through and
child.
stuff. Yeah. And so yeah, she's like, all this screaming and craziness is happening in the barn. And she's like, well, is that normal screaming or is that like does that sound like normal screaming to you?
There's
Maybe
always
I'm
screaming with
overthinking
charity.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the
That's
door
really
opens
shit
and like
in
a
the pan.
person on fire runs out, and you're just like, oh, maybe this is different.
Yeah, and so a couple of the other fingers get burned to death. The whole barn's burning down. Crystal comes out and is super pissed off. And this one, then Spike's like, he's like, "Where's the lady?" He's like, "Oh, I killed her back there. She's somewhere over there." I
Yeah,
guess.
she's back in the woods.
You didn't,
totally-
you didn't think to bring me her face or her unborn child. And I'm willing to bet
Show
she
some
died
kind of
in a spot
initiative.
that's very hard to find. Yeah, show some
This is
initiative.
a great scene. Show some initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack O'Connor.
Meanwhile, yeah, Jimmy is like losing fingers left and right because these fingers
Now-
are dying off. Yeah.
Now, what did we miss here? Because this is where, to save him, Aaron Kellyman jumps in and says, well, we should go talk to your father. She has seen Dr.
So-
Kelson by this point.
Yeah, when she's out in the woods, she spies and she sees Dr. Kelson down in his bone temple, orange skin, looking like an insane person, dancing to Duran Duran with
With an
Samson.
alpha.
And so of course,
Yes, yes.
So she
with
sees
the
that.
undead, yeah.
and of course, what would you think if you're a Satanist who's been told like this whole time about old Nick and
And
stuff?
he's orange. Yeah.
He's
He's
dancing
orange,
with
he's
his
got
own
bones,
demons in the bone
Cohorting
temple.
with his
Yeah.
own minions or whatever.
It's really
yeah.
the location is the Bone Temple. You're like, well, that must be the bone. Later,
That
when
must be
Jimmy's
Satan.
like, well, this is one of his new Bone Temples. I haven't seen this Bone Temple. Well, architecturally, it's new. 5 or 6 years means
Architecturally
nothing to
speaking.
Bone
That's not that whole
Temples.
architecturally.
Yes, that he's
Yeah.
like talking down to them so much. It's incredible.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and this is great. 'Cause
And that's
they're like,
when
oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, just that when she brings up, she's like, "I saw old Nick," and he's like, "What do you mean you saw old Nick?" Because he's
Yeah,
like,
what
that's
are
like
you
he's
talking
truly
about?
surprised that she says that, and he's like,
Yep.
"You could. That's not possible. Like I've never even seen him. I only talk to him in my head."
And
Yeah.
this is fun narratively because it makes you think, is he so clever that he knows having an unseen boss that he can refer to of, well, old Nick's the one who says we have to sleep outside tonight, is a great way to corral a collective, or is he truly crazy? And it leaves you questioning that to the end when he says, I can't hear the voices anymore. And you're like, oh, he's truly crazy.
Right.
That is, well, he to a certain degree, he is truly crazy, but how much does he believe his own BS, and how much is he
Yes.
embellishing to get the fingers to follow what he's
Because
doing?
the best, again, to jump forward, but the best part is when he realizes it's not, he goes, we have to put on a show. And Dr. Kelson's like,
So you're not
"Okay,"
old Nick,
like, damn it, I kind of have to keep a promise here when he is, because that proves that
Well,
he
we'll
kind
talk
of
about-
doesn't believe his bullshit.
Yeah, my favorite scene in the movie when
It's
him
goddamn
and Kelson meet and they have this little
It's-
talk.
It's
Yeah.
let's get to it because it's
because basically,
Well,
he kind of shits his pants. Like, wait, you saw him? Okay, I should investigate this. So we're gonna go. I'm the only one who's gonna talk to him. You show me where he
talk
is.
to him for
I'm his
you guys
son.
are. Yeah, they're not. You're not worthy.
Excuse me, sir. Are you old Nick? And the look on Dr. Kelson's face as he turns around and sort of like gets up and sort of is eyeballing his blow dart to be like, do I have to blow dart this guy?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. As Dr. Kelson's point of view, he has not really seen another person for like 20 years. The last people saw was Spike and his mother, Isla. Those are the first people, because remember when he first meets Spike, he's like, I've been waiting 20 years to explain what this bone
my
temple
art project.
This is a big deal for me. Oh, you brought me a baby. This is what your whole thing is, right? Oh, it's not. There's other stuff.
You just
kind of
found this baby.
That movie is so incredible.
Yeah.
So incredible.
So the second human being that he's spoken to, encountered in like 28 years, is this insane person in a tracksuit coming up saying,
young man,
old Nick?
You're wearing a tiara and you have an upside down cross on in your tracksuit and your long blonde hair. You're right, Jay. It's so incredible. Just this light. And he's like acting sheepish. He is like nervous and embarrassed to be face to face with his father.
There's even the line when he
that's
says,
the question is like, what does Jimmy think here?
because he says, are you old Nick? He's like, you mean Satan? It's like, like so earnestly, like, are you?
Yeah.
And then when he's like, I thought I was about to meet my dad for a second. I was like, almost shit my pants. Like,
so you can see that
about what you said earlier, meeting your father. What quite did you mean by
believe
that?
you're the
Doctor
son of
mode.
Satan? Well, of course I am.
Fascinating, yes. But it's like they have now, Jacob. You said this is the best scene. This scene in this movie, the writing. This is Alex Garland, who I've said before, I think is the greatest living screenwriter to ever exist. I just fully, flat out believe that he's got a mastery of plotting while tying together just incredible dialogue, and that he takes this confrontation to the point of where Jimmy Crystal says, God, I just feel like I can talk to you about things I can't talk to anybody about. This is so nice.
You're so
that
easy
these
to talk
two
to.
gentlemen, again, are so ideologically opposed to each other, but this coming together still comes down to, oh, good Lord, a little bit of humanity in this world where there is none. I guess it would be fun to pretend.
Sit down and have a little chat. Alex Garland. Alex Garland is interesting because I do like a lot of. I haven't liked some of his recent projects, but I love.
You did not like Warfare.
Annihilation. I didn't like Warfare. I didn't like Civil War that much. So recently, he's been leaning into these sort of political war movies that I don't know, just aren't working for me. But I loved Annihilation and I love Ex Machina. I love Dread. And he also, recently had a thing where he's like, I'm going to stop directing and just be a screenwriter because I've been having some frustrations with directing. And I do think, maybe that is a good idea. But I do like.
I love that TV show he did. But I can't remember.
I haven't seen that yet. Devs. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That's right.
But he is a great screenwriter. And so you have Jimmy first, kind of looking at old Nick at Kelson and being like, oh yes, that is old Nick. So he tells his fingers that it is old Nick. So he's like, let me go talk to him first.
Is it him? Is it him? You're asking me if it's him. Is it him? Is it him? Is it him? It's him. And they'll go, it's him, it's him, it's him. And they'll start cheering and then they repeat their little phrase back and forth to each other.
What's that?
How's that?
How's that?
But that's where Erin Kellyman is starting to have some doubts because she's like, I could tell by the look on his face, he had never seen that site in his life when he looked through those binoculars.
That's right. He was full of shit.
Yeah. And what's this shite about these castles in the Highlands? I've never heard that before. That just sounds like some BS.
But I've been to many of them. I've visited all the castles that he has.
Oh, this must be one of his new ones. Oh, it looks pretty old. Architecturally speaking, 5 or 6 years is pretty new in those terms.
Pretty new.
So he goes down to talk to Dr. Kelson, and this is an incredible scene where you just have these two people coming together, having this little chat.
And they come to an understanding where it ends with them being like, can you do me a big favor?
I'm in a bit of a bind, mate.
Well,
that means you're in a bit of a bind.
I'm in a bit of a bind. I did tell... I did tell my fingers that you are Satan, and of course, you don't go along with this. I am going to, I'm going to feed you your own intestines if you don't.
And that's
where
Dr. Kelson, for the first time, is like, oh,
Oh, I am
And
in a
he's
bit of a
oh.
bind.
yeah, it's like, oh, and he doesn't play it too big. He's just like, oh, fascinating. Yeah, he's still in doctor mode.
Yeah.
I like that moment too where he's like, so you're a Satanist and I'm an atheist. And Jimmy's like, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's
That
right.
makes sense.
You're getting it. See, and that's what
Let's
he
get to
says.
the
I
bottom
feel
of
like
this.
talking to you
You
is
lived
just,
in
yeah.
the
Yeah.
you lived in the house next to the church.
Yes.
So you lived in the
Yes.
rectory. Yeah, you could say that. So your
Son,
father was the
your
priest.
father was the town vicar. That's what that means. He was probably a man of faith. And the look on like Jimmy's face is like, like
I think he
That's
was
the last
straight
time
up.
you saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's kind of explaining to Jimmy, like,
he
yeah,
was rising up.
That's what happened.
but he's also, it's an interesting time in Dr. Kelson's life because he's kind of like, he's like, I've completed my life's work, this bone temple, of course.
It's
I've
an
been,
interesting time in his life post the
Yeah.
apocalypse, Jacob. You know what? He's still got stuff that's just fresh every day.
but he's like,
Tested
I've
his
completed my life's
psychological
work.
cure. We're not sure if it worked yet.
I've been hanging
He
out with
doesn't know.
Samson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been trying to cure Samson, but I might
Getting
have
all
to
these
euthanize
visitors.
him.
I'm almost out of
Yeah.
morphine. Yeah.
He's also kind of like contemplating, like, it wouldn't be the worst thing if he died, really. Like, he's kind
No,
of
he's very content.
at
There's
peace
a
with
lot
it.
of like
Yeah.
the moment has come, yes, and peace
Memento
being
mori.
the absolute word there. Yeah, agreed.
Yes. Peace and
So,
respite. There's nothing
he
wrong
kind
with
of-
it.
Peace and respite. Nothing wrong with a little peace and respite, Samson.
Let's have morphine.
God,
little bit
incredible.
more.
What if when Jimmy Chris took him up, he was like, "What's going on, man? You want some of this morphine or what?"
Yeah, honestly, hey, Jimmy.
The curiosity he has, like, talking to Jimmy and be like, oh, you're what we would call a mentally unwell person. And he's sort of, trying to talk Jimmy through it and be like, well, I
And
guess,
that
I
Jimmy
will
has
go along
no
with your thing.
self-reflection. That he just likes hearing that he's like the center of something. He's like, yeah, that is what I am. You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
Also, I'm in a bind, and so are you. Yeah, he just doesn't really process
Like,
it.
yeah, maybe we'll put on a little show. And so essentially, Dr. Kelson agrees to go along with it. He's like, so what you're telling me is you want me to pretend to be Satan and put on a little show, perhaps put on some Iron Maiden, do a little dance. Personally, I love doing little dances to my record collection, so
Guys.
I'm totally on board with that.
And again, you're seeing something you couldn't have thought up. And when people are like, AI is going to replace creatives or whatever, AI couldn't write a scene where
No,
Dr. Kelson has to put on a show to save his life. What are you talking about?
The most important performance of his career. Yeah.
This is the big finale of the movie, the third act, in which...
And this is a very short movie. And like we said, this weird cross-cutting structure makes it kind of feel not super long, in my opinion. It kind of just rolled for me.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, Colin, like, formally it's more traditional in the way it's shot and edited and everything, but still some of the most interesting things I've ever seen in a zombie movie, where you have, again, this character of Dr. Kelson, the Jimmies, like these two things coming together, and essentially Dr. Kelson having to put on a show, the show of his life, where he's going to put on some like eye makeup and play some Iron Maiden, do a little dance, and it's going to blow these people's minds.
It's a we have to save the community center movie, where if the show doesn't go well, it will all be shut down and the Bone Temple will be closed.
No.
But it's like, luckily, go ahead.
Well, yeah, what I like about it is, like, I like that the conversation ended with Jimmy and him is, you got to pretend to be Satan. I'm going to tell my guys that only I can talk to you. You need to tell them that this is my will. This is your will for me. All right, cool. We're good. The Iron Maiden, the other stuff, that was all Kelson. Like, hold on a minute. Oh, they're going to love this.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, luckily, Dr. Kelson is like the most prepared to put on the show.
You wouldn't believe what I've been into lately.
Yeah. Get his
I'm
generator
gonna
out.
put candles all over my bone temple. Yeah.
Upside down cross, you
Iron
name it,
Maiden
man.
music.
It's going to be sick.
Yeah. I'm really going to get into it. Like, he's like almost...
I'm going to give you guys drugs.
He's like a musical theater student. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, Jacob. I made a student short film in college where I shot in a morgue, and I went to this hospital and was like, would it be okay if I used like this abandoned hospital morgue's like hallway? And the guy who ran it was like, really? You think this is an interesting place to shoot? Like, truly, like, Dr. Kelson has that energy of like, really, you guys are interested in my bone temple? Well, I guess if it's here, we might as well as use how outfitted my bone temple is. It's like, what are you?
Right.
It's like the greatest location ever. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and luckily he has this record collection. We know he loves Duran Duran. He loves Radiohead. He listens to my favorite band of all time, Radiohead, Idiotech from the album Kid A.
Wow.
So I'm glad we listened to that. We listened to Little Ordinary World, a little Rio, Duran Duran.
Hungry like a wolf.
Hungry like a wolf.
While
and
a
then,
zombie gets bitten.
yeah. And luckily he had this Iron Maiden record, which doesn't fit with the rest of his music taste because he seems like he's into like new wave and stuff from like the 90s and 2000s. And then he also has this heavy metal Iron Maiden.
I figured
he had that though.
Yeah, because he says, I've searched for all the morphine in every place for 70 miles. I'm sure if he came across errant records, he'd be like, I guess I'll bring this back too.
Right.
Even if
but
it's
how
not
much
my
vinyl
style.
you're really finding, like, because that's sort of a collector's item. Even in 2002, like it was a hobbyist thing to have, vinyl records and things like that. So he's
True.
really going old school with it. But I'm glad he has his little his record collection though. Like,
Well, I love that was set up and
Probably
paid
do the
off in
thing.
such a big way on this finale, where like he uses his little record
Yes.
player that we saw for personal moments for the finale. It's like, God, good job, Alex Garland.
Now,
Again, seeing
Spike
him-
is worried. He has seen him all painted up, which was kind of the primary image of this film, and made me very worried that he was going to turn into a rage zombie. I was like, oh, why do they keep showing this picture of Kelson like screaming with fire behind him? I was like,
Yeah,
that doesn't
Yeah.
track.
it's like your poster image.
But so you've had Spiky Boy become aware of, they're talking about this strange orange doctor. I pretty
Yeah,
sure
a
I
bone
know a
temple,
strange
you say.
Mhm.
Well, Mike, what's the word? An aberact? What
it's
is
an-
it called?
It's
An
an
ossuary.
ossuary.
Yeah.
An ossuary. What if Spike was like, did it happen to look like an ossuary? No.
Actually,
but
my
just the
mom's
idea
skull is one of those skulls in
Yes,
the
she's right at
bone
the
temple.
top. I picked the
Yeah.
spot myself. He is set up to be like, this is not good that these worlds are colliding. And he makes the choice here after talking to Eric Kellyman to put the mask on himself to not be witnessed by Dr. Kelson, correct?
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't
Well, it
want
seems
to
like,
take it off.
because he doesn't know, what Dr. Kelson would do if he saw Spike.
Yeah. That he
and
would,
he even
I guess, try to kill the fingers. Yeah.
Right. But the night before, he even tries to escape, like in the morning, right? He tries to
Yeah,
escape
yeah.
the Jimmies again when they're sleeping in the woods. One of the other Jimmies wakes up and almost kills him and is like,
Mhm.
well, he was like, the Jimmy you killed in your, trial by
Oh, this one.
combat, where you replaced him, that was my best
That's my
mate.
best
That was
friend.
my
Yeah.
base mate. And I'm going to kill
They
you now, little
fake it
Jimmy.
and make it look like he was the one trying to escape. And this is where Erin Kellyman sort of lays out her life
She kills
philosophy
him.
of,
Yeah.
she's lived out there. This is the best
What's worse?
of it. Like,
Yeah. You think this
be
is
with
bad?
the
Like,
Jimmies. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. So she kills the other Jimmy. So there's only 3 fingers left other than Spike. So there's Jimmy, there's there's Sir Lord Jimmy.
I love that you were legitimately about to list off. There's Jimmy, there's Jimmy. I'm pretty sure they've still got Jimmy.
Yeah.
But basically, of the fingers left, there's Jimmy Inc., Aaron Kellyman, there's Spike, and then there's 2 other Jimmys, which are kind of a couple of Jimmys. Like there's a male and female couple. Those are the only ones left. All the other Jimmys have died at this point. So they get to go see this show, and we got to talk about this scene.
Yeah, because
because this is the show of his life. Yeah,
you could even see it in Jimmy Crystal's eyes. They're walking into the Bone Temple at night, and there's all the candles. Like, this is like beyond his wildest
He's
dreams.
impressed
Like, he
with
has
the,
this child
production
like
value.
Like,
Yeah.
he really went all out for me, you know?
He's like, this
It is like an episode of Boy Meets World where he's like, well, I know we're going on our date at the gym. It's not too dressed up. And then you walk in and it's like a fancy restaurant, whatever. And he's got to be like, oh.
Right.
Yeah, there's candles everywhere, the atmosphere, the production value.
And
then Dr. Kelson comes out, blasting.
Well, it starts with that
Iron Maiden.
narration, right? Because like these kids probably don't know what a loudspeaker is, so there's just echoing voices from the woods, the number of the beast.
Yeah.
It's like very, very atmospheric.
Yeah, this would blow their minds. Like this blew their minds because they've never seen
This
anything
is
like
magic
this before.
Yeah.
And
I know,
they're
listen,
fully
Iron Maiden,
convinced that this is fake. Yeah.
This is how this song all goes, correct? Like it starts with that chanting with the number of the beast and stuff.
Yeah, it
right?
opens with that narration, 100%. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Iron
That's
Maiden,
really cool.
Satan. Yeah, but well, and we saw, Dr. Kelson earlier dancing Duran Duran. Again, the way he moves his body, Rafe finds, strips down completely naked, dancing Duran Duran, later dancing with Samson, like holding Samson's hands and like dancing with him and stuff. Like
He happens
he's
to
ready
have
for
like a
this.
leather choker. Like he kind of looks like Pinhead. He's chalk white with ash, black
Yeah.
eyes,
Black eyes. He's got some kind of like
accents
leather
of
coat
leather.
thing that he has.
Yeah.
Well, he had all that
Luckily, he
burning
had that.
outfits. They had all that leather stuff so he could burn bodies and shit. I guess he just modified some of that
Right.
gear.
Yeah.
He even prepared, like he's got those fire things that he waves and like
Yeah, those,
creates
like,
all these
cisterns.
sparks and stuff. Yeah.
Dude.
I mean,
It's
he goes
incredible.
all out. Like,
And you're not again. You
not
buy
expecting
you
this.
say one ticket to 28 years later at the Bone Temple, please. And it's not like she goes, "Oh, the movie where Ray Funds does a big dance."
Well, yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
you're reading the script, right? Okay. The Jimmies enter the Bone Temple looking for Kelson. The number of the beast starts playing on the loudspeaker. Like, what? You're like, what are we doing now? What are we doing? This should never work.
right.
But it works so well.
And he comes out, he's giving this show. There's like
Gives
a
him drugs.
circle of fire around everything. I mean, the production value is insane. And he starts jamming out to this Iron Maiden. The Jimmies are loving it. Like they're going
loving
insane.
it.
Their minds are blown. Like my mind would be blown too. Like this is an insane show.
Jimmy Crystal can't believe it. This childlike joy that he's experienced. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, man, this is awesome.
It's like this is working out better than I could possibly imagine. And he knows, of course, at this point, he's like, well, that's not the real Satan, my father, of course, who is real, but he's putting on a great show.
This guy's doing me a solid right now. Yeah.
Yeah, what a pal.
Oh,
And it
man.
ends, and then it becomes the speech portion where you really get that Dr. Kelson has memorized his lines, but it's this great Q&A of like, Dr. Kelson will set up as Satan, like, you will continue to spread my message. And what is that message? And basically Jimmy Crystal will be like, your message is 1,000 screams, 1,000,000. He really like showmans it and goes into the speech, as we said, of you ask me to grow our numbers. It's not just the 7 that makes the fists. It's 2 fists, then 5, then 1,000,
Right.
an army of Jimmys to cleanse the world and to bring Satan's message to this world.
Yeah.
And I think what's incredible too is as Dr. Kelson is like giving this speech, like, oh, my decrees, go out and continue your works among the people. He's kind of having this crisis of conscience where he's like, wait, I'm telling these insane Satanists to go out and like torture and kill more people. Like, should I be
Even
doing
better,
this?
Jacob? He is hearing for the first time what that means.
Right,
Jimmy's answer of like,
Mhm.
and we will go back and bring out charity, flaying people and and bringing their faces and doing this, and you do see on Dr. Kelson's face
like,
as he keeps saying the speech, it gets harder for the words to come out. You're totally
And
right.
he sees, I mean, from his point of view, he's seen Sir Lord Jimmy, who's just like a very insane person, and then he sees
affable.
the Jimmys. Yeah, he's like, oh, this is like a cult leader, and then the fingers, they're all children basically. Like they're young children
Yeah.
who've been sort of warped into this mindset. So maybe he's thinking like,
Probably left.
yeah,
Mhm.
like should I be doing this? Should I be telling them to go? Like, should I be agreeing with Sir Lord Jimmy, or should I be doing
Right.
something to stop this? Right.
It's almost like the
And
Hippocratic
meanwhile,
Oath.
Spike has his mask. Yeah.
Like, oh,
First
this
do
is
no
what I will be
harm.
endorsing. Like, if I let them leave, like,
Yeah.
this is getting crazy. Yeah.
So as he's giving a speech, he's sort of having second thoughts. He sees Spike, but Spike's been wearing his mask the whole time, hiding his face. But towards the end of the speech, he's kind of looking at Spike, and he's like, something in his eyes. He's like, that looks familiar to me, right? And so he says, I have one more decree. Well, first he goes up and he takes the mask off Spike, and he's like, Spike. And so he
Mhm.
realizes now, like, oh, Spike has been indoctrinated into this cult somehow, and now he knows, like, I have to stop it. Like, this cannot continue.
And this is great to
This is
flip
so
the
beautiful.
playbook when he's like, I have one more
Yeah.
decree. And Jimmy Crystal's like, really? No, wait. I think
No,
that was the
I
last
don't
one.
think you do. Yeah.
to have the play in your head of like, this kid doesn't know anything about, it's not even pop culture because it's like the Bible or whatever, but like I can literally just play to him, okay, if you say you're the Antichrist, I'll just tell them to do what happened to Christ. So yes, it's time. Bring him up there and flip him upside down and torture and kill him. And
A
it's
sacrifice
just
must be made.
a sacrifice.
Son of God was
Because once he sees
crucified.
Spike, he's
So
like,
will my
I
son.
need to save Spike. Like, I
Reverse
need to save
crucified.
the insane Satanist cult leader. And Jimmy Inc., Aaron Kellyman is completely like into it. Like, yeah, we should crucify this guy.
Fuck Jimmy.
Well, because
Jimmy sucks.
she's convinced she thinks it is old Nick after the performance and stuff. She's not in on it,
Right.
like
That's
Crystal.
No, their minds are blown. Like,
Jimmy Crystal snaps at her and says, "Oh, you've been looking for a reason to do this."
yeah.
Which is
I like one of the decrees
crazy,
is like
Megatron yelling at Starscream.
Yeah.
And one of the decrees he says is like, and you must obey my son at
Yeah.
all times. Like, that means no back talk.
It's important to listen to Jimmy Crystal and not question and no back talk. Yeah, that's really funny when he lists all that. And Aaron Kellyman's face is very suspicious during
Just
that
like,
part.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he is getting more and more annoyed as the movie goes on because of
No.
dissent in the ranks, right? And like people questioning him as the cult leader and stuff. So he's like, I can't be having this. Like, people need to listen to me.
Yeah. But I do like that all the other
grow
Jimmys
your
are like,
numbers.
yeah, we'll crucify him because this is really Satan. They're like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So he
was
lashes
too
out, and
convincing.
why does he stab Kelson?
He says, if
Because
this guy
he
was
like
really
then
Satan, could I
say-
do this?
Oh, that's
So
right.
he
says,
realizes
this
like,
guy's not
oh,
old dick.
the
He's
jig
got
is
to
up.
de-escalate
Like,
now.
they're turning on me. Okay, wait, this guy actually isn't Satan. He's just a gangly old fool. Look, I can stab him. And so now Kelson is basically mortally injured. But they do
The fingers grab Jimmy and spin him up. Yeah.
Yeah. At this point,
the
Spike's
finger-
like,
yeah.
Dr. Kelson, I'm sorry. Oh, Spike, my boy.
Why did you do it? I saw your eyes, Spike, and I knew what you'd been through. And
You've been
again,
through
that's
so much.
the reference you get to the last movie, and you're like, oh my God, that's so crazy.
That's
Yeah.
true. They finally speak. But
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Inc. ends up like killing the other two Jimmys and is fighting Jimmy Crystal after, and then who lands the final blow on Jimmy Crystal but Spiky Boy. Stabs him in the chest.
Right.
That's right.
Right. And so basically, there's only Jimmy Inc. and Spike left. They're like, let's get the fuck out of here. She's like, you
this
knew that
moment.
guy. Yeah.
I like this moment where Dr. Kelson stabbed and Jimmy Inc. goes, oh, I've seen a lot worse out in the world, but I think, that probably is you done that.
Yeah.
And Dr.
I don't want
Kelson's
to make your
I'm a
day
doctor.
any worse.
like,
Yeah.
Gonna die.
He's like, yes, I'm a doctor.
Yes,
I
I
know
know.
I'm going to die. Yes.
So Jimmy Inc. and Spike leave, and they're like, let's get out of here. Sir
Well, I think
Lord
they
Jimmy
decide,
is,
you know
is
what?
crucified upside down.
I think I
Yeah.
do want to follow that one command before we get out of here. So Jimmy Inc., I believe,
Yeah.
strings up, and then they get out of there.
Right. So they crucify him upside down. And meanwhile, so they leave. Meanwhile, we didn't even talk about what Samson's been going through this whole time, the train scene, all this stuff. Essentially, as we know, Samson is starting to recall some of his own humanity. He's starting to think back to when he was a child. He returns to this train. He sits down in the seat, and he's like, he remembers. We have a flashback of him as a child on the train, looking at a picture book of the moon. Someone comes by. May I see your ticket? And that's when we get, yeah. And so he says, that's when he first speaks and says, oh, I don't have a ticket, as Samson. And then so as he's regaining his humanity, all the other zombies turn on him because like, oh, this is a human now, not a zombie. We must attack him. So he fights off a bunch of zombies, kills a bunch of zombies on the train.
They spit blood in his
completely
face.
covered in blood.
Right,
Yeah.
so presumably you cannot get reinfected once you've been cured,
Yeah, seems
Right.
like, because that's obviously a huge concern in this
huge
world.
thing.
A drop of
Yes.
blood changes you. Yeah.
Yep.
But we see, he comes out of the train. This is important. He's completely naked, just drenched in blood, head to foot, completely red with blood, right?
Yeah.
And so as Sir Jimmy strung up upside down, I can't hear the voice anymore. I can't hear the voice.
Ian.
And who comes by? who
He's
walks
facing
in
the entrance.
and
Yeah, he's looking directly at the entrance.
Yeah.
He imagines old Nick, Satan himself.
right. And we see Samson walk in covered in blood. Through Jimmy's eyes, we see, he's got horns on his head because he's imagining him literally as Satan. And that's when you can see he does truly believe the things he's saying, even though if he embellishes it for his cult a little bit, but he truly is like hearing the voice of
He's crazy.
Satan in his mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Dr. Ian Kelson is there laying, also stabbed, like bleeding out, basically. And that's when we have Samson come in. Oh, Dr. Kelson, thank you. Thank you for saving me. I can talk now. Don't you see?
Yeah.
Dr. Kelson, what happened out there was, I mean, he truly says like a full sentence where I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's shocking. So it's like, Kelson,
but the last
tell me
thing,
how yeah. Go ahead.
Well, the last thing Kelson hears as he's dying is like, thank you for carrying me, basically.
Thank you, Dr. Kelson.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kelson says, Memento Mori.
Memento Mori.
Yeah.
I like to think that Samson somehow knew how to work the furnaces and bleached his little skull and put it somewhere in there.
I
hope
so.
not, Mike. I don't want to be turned into just bones. I've said that before.
But how are we going to memento your Mori if we're not in the Bone Temple?
I don't want to be part of the temple.
And to honor the dead.
Yes. And then he walks.
So they run off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Jimmy gets jump scared, by the devil, presumably, but the kids get away.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to a little girl sitting at a desk who is having an argument about British history, where she is trying to say one thing and the person off screen is going, no. You're not thinking about the spread of fascism, about how it could have come from this angle, this angle, this angle. And out from behind a doorway walks one of the most handsome men I have ever seen in my life. Some sort of ageless porcelain.
Peaky Blinders to you.
Oh, he tips his weird little hat at me, of course.
He's got a hand-rolled cigarette.
Peaky Blinders.
I mean, an ageless,
Yeah.
If you just watch, if you only knew this man from these series, all you would think is he grew his hair out.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy, a very handsome man who's aged, I would say, very well in the last 28 years.
Yeah, like Scarecrow.
Yeah. And I mean, I love Cillian Murphy, great actor.
The original Jim of this franchise.
Yes, that's right. His name was Jim.
And we had all these theories where we were
Yeah.
like, it was said he was going to be in this movie. He's a Jim. The Jims. He'll meet this cult. How will he save Spike? And again, when he pops out at the end now, I'm like, wait, is there a whole nother act to this movie? Like, I'm like ramping up now in my mind of like, oh, I guess he'll get them back to the village, and then I just don't know what this will go to.
Really? I thought, I was like, oh, this must be the end, because the last movie introduces the Jimmies right at the end. This movie reintroduces Jim.
The Jim.
And if you remember how 28 Days Later ends, of course, him and Naomi Harris and the girl that was Brendan Gleeson's daughter, they all kind of, they escape and they go to they live in a house on an island or something, and they kind of survive. That's kind of how that movie ends.
Yeah, so 28 years he's been in this.
So we see now, obviously, him and Naomi Harris had a daughter. That's the little girl. We don't see Naomi Harris. We don't know if she died or if she's just off screen or what happened to her character. We don't see Hannah either.
Yeah, we don't know.
Is it not greenlit though?
Well, like
we'll just see if it gets made is the issue. Yeah. And now it cuts to this moment where him and his daughter, he says, you know what to do, because she thinks she hears something. They run outside. They both have scoped rifles. They're trained professionals. They're survivalists. They're up on this hill. They scope out. He says, what do you see? She says, two people running from infected or whatever she says, right?
Yeah.
And she says, should we save them? And a lesser movie would cut to black at that moment. I'm like gripping my seat.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, what is it going to be? And he hesitates and she says, Dad. And he turns and says, of course. And they move off screen, cuts to black. And that is adrenaline, baby. I am 100% amped for the next one, dude.
I want it so bad.
That will not come out probably, unfortunately.
What? Why are you guys saying this? Because I thought like
this one's
it was
really
getting
not
made.
making any.
It's making less
this
than
one's
half
really
of.
not making any money. And
Yeah.
Danny Boyle has said each film that this film was mostly shot, so it wasn't dependent on that last one, but this one is dependent on how they all do. Like you guys said up top, first one didn't make a ton of money. It had great reviews, kind of mixed feelings from
Audience
fans,
reviews.
zombie fans, but
Good critical reviews, though, yeah.
Okay. Maybe not as doing as well as they like. I thought they were all good. Like I thought it was already greenlit, the third one. I mean, it would be a tragedy if the third one didn't get made after these first two.
In the history of
cinema. It's Sony, it's Millennium. Who makes these that they could Lionsgate that they couldn't just like afford to make a little bit of money? Like who gives a shit if they're not blockbusters?
Sony will greenlight a Morbius.
Well,
I bet they do it.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to lose money.
Plus the doctor.
You say it hasn't made that much money, but it is currently now. It's of course January 19th. It is the second highest grossing movie of 2026. So if we just stop the count here, it's the second highest grossing movie of the year.
I will say this though, it's the highest rated in the franchise history. It's higher rated than the original on all fronts, critics and audience. So
it's a hell of a picture, man.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what I want for the.
Okay, so
yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, for the next one, it's just like I see clear vector. I want to cook it
next
because like I need it, and so what I see as a clear vector is like for this franchise, what I want is Kelson succeeded. He made a cure, so there's a way in which we heal England. Like we could actually bounce back from the virus. I would like to see some type of way of that happening. And if we're talking about redemption. You can redeem the whole country. You could get Samson to meet with his daughter, Jamie, and Spiky Boy. I'm a good father now, Spiky Boy. I'm sorry. Like, I could see it all with Cillian Murphy.
Exist, Mike?
Can you do a happy ending from this horrible franchise?
These two movies all leading to Spike meeting Jim from the first movie. Like, it's all been leading to this.
Man.
But let me read what I...
Yeah. Do you live on a little island, boy?
These movies are distributed by Sony. Let me read what it says here on the Wikipedia. The film was announced as a part of a planned trilogy with Garland serving as screenwriter for all three. In January 2025, Boyle confirmed that he would direct the final film of the trilogy. That September, Murphy said that the third film would only be produced if audiences go and see the second one. That December, Deadline reported industry buzz that Sony was proceeding with a potential third installment prior to the film's theatrical release. So, although no official confirmation has been announced.
And will you just do a quick, what did it gross for this opening weekend?
I saw
so right now,
like
half
of what 28
it was expected to make 20 to 22 million in the Martin Luther King 4-day weekend. However, it only has made 13 million over the 3-day weekend, and with an estimated 15 million over the 4-day. So less than expected. It's a weaker U.S. domestic opening than the last movie, which
I bet it ends up at 30. Yeah, unfortunately, I bet it ends up making 30 as well.
Yeah, I don't think
it's... Cinema score of A-, which is really good as a cinema score.
That's really good.
The last movie only had a B, which is wild. So people that are seeing it are loving it, but it's just not getting seen enough. And I do wonder, like, if it being a direct sequel to the last one, where it's like you would be totally lost if you saw this one if you haven't seen the first one. Is that weighing into it somehow?
Yeah, tricky thing too. Well, you have to watch a divisive first one to get to the good second one for some people. It's like homework.
Yeah. But I would say from December 10th, 2025, this Deadline article here, 28 years later, 3, moving forward at Sony with Cillian Murphy in talks, Alex Garland penning. So unless something changes, like unless the box office is so bad that they're like, actually, we're not doing this, I do think it will get made.
I hope.
I'm optimistic.
My issue is I feel like post-Oscars, Cillian Murphy's quote is like $30 million.
Maybe, but he's already on board to do it, obviously. So
maybe
I feel like
do
the deal's
some fundraising. Anyway, I hope it gets done because this ending of this movie, it's like this is like you said, it's been leading up to this Spike meeting Jim, and
All
Jim
been
helping
leading
him
to
get
this,
back
yeah.
to his house. And I need Samson to find his daughter. That would be incredible. And a movie that's so much about parental relationships and stuff, a series that's been dealing with a lot of that. I need Samson to meet his daughter.
Yeah. And I think the third one is the one that really could tie it together thematically. Because again, if you just take these two, like they are direct sequels, like they are directly related to each other, but again, so different formally, different directors. The third one with Danny Boyle coming back, I think it could tie it all together nicely.
Marriott.
We resolved Jimmy Crystal's complete story from a child to his death. That is done with these two, but we still haven't resolved Spike's father and his relationship, and that kind of stuff still needs to wrap up.
Yeah.
Now, theory. Do you guys think for the third film, the way to bring Jimmy Crystal is he the new alpha?
Holy crap. He's
he
infected.
gets zombified
and he's the villain. They're on the run from Jimmy Crystal still,
maybe.
baby.
He's a demon.
I will
now.
say, like,
interesting.
The way these two movies like are so unexpected and so better than I expected. The third one, like, I don't know where they're going to go from here, and it could be like a huge letdown if it's not as good as the first two, and that's what I'm worried about. Yeah, because like I didn't know what they were going to do for this. Like, obviously, going into 28 years later, we had no idea what to expect. It was so different than what we expected, but we loved it. And the next one is like the Bone Temple. Where could they go from here? The Jimmy's getting introduced in the end, and it's like, is this going to be as good as the last one? It ends up it is very good, and unexpected again. Lots of unexpected things. Did they use all their best storylines and stuff in the first two movies? And the third one is going to be a letdown. That's what I'm mostly worried about.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big stuff that does happen. Like, we have a cure, we have a infected that has been cured. There's storylines too. Like, does Samson become the steward of the knowledge of Kelson? Does he collect the books and kind of try to backpack them to civilization? What's the next steps here? I want to see it. I hope it gets greenlit because I love both of these movies, I guess is where I'll put that.
I think the third one should be like, it's going to be, the focus will be back on Spike, which I like, because again, I think Spike is sidelined a little bit because this movie is really all about, again, it's Dr. Kelson and it's Sir Lord Jimmy, and they're kind of, like you said, it's logical doctor atheism versus fanatical religious Satanism, right?
Yeah, compassion versus evil.
But again, Spike being such a great character in the first one and then getting sidelined in this one, I want to see a return to him as the main character and really wrap up the trilogy that way.
Agreed. When I went to this film, I had the Grogu and Mandalorian trailer. And anytime I see that, it makes me think how the last Star Wars film I saw, which capped off a trilogy, was a disaster.
Rise
and I would
of
hate to have
Skywalker.
those feelings
Yes.
transmogrified to this franchise.
But I would say the problem with obviously a lot of problems with the Disney Star Wars trilogy sequel trilogy. But the problem is going from J.J. Abrams' Force Awakens, everyone pretty much kind of liked that one, to Rian Johnson, The Last Jedi. Very divisive film. Some people loved it. Some people hated it, of course. But again, it seemed like directionless trilogy, because it's like that movie took all the ideas of the last movie and kind of went a totally different way. And then they're like, okay, let's get J.J. Abrams back for the third one to get it back onto the Force Awakens kind of track. And that left everyone unhappy, where it's like,
this is
somehow Jimmy Crystal returned.
I cannot, in a world where they're like, no, Nia DaCosta, I didn't like any of the choices you made. That it's like, no, it's because they're all written by Alex Garland. That he's like, no, this is the blueprint.
I think that's kind of the difference. Is like, generally people seem to like both of these movies, even if you're like, well, I missed some of the editing choices and stuff of the last one and this one. Nia DaCosta was still cooking, I think, to a certain degree. So even if you prefer 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple is still good. I think everyone kind of agrees, like, both these movies are good. So it's different than The Last Jedi. We don't need another Rise of Skywalker situation, but I think they must have an idea in mind. I don't know how the story is going to wrap up, and I don't know how it could be more interesting than these last two movies. That's kind of what I'm worried about, where it's going to be more sort of stereotypical story-wise, and like, I mean,
who knows?
The character of Dr. Kelson it's just such a unique character. It's like hard to top that, I think, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
problem.
But we'll have Cillian back, but we'll see. I say let's get over to final thoughts on The Bone Temple, a 28 years later story, right after this.
We're back, wrapping things up here on Normies Like Us as we wrap up our talk on the zombie franchise of all zombie franchises. The rage virus has consumed us, but maybe we're cured because we've been talking 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
I'll tell you what would make me become infected with the rage virus is if they don't make the third movie. I really, really, really like this one, and I can't tell if I liked it more than the previous one, even if it is stylistically a little more clean. I love both of these.
It's like this is the ultimate, Mike, to just stay on our Star Wars metaphor of like what you would have hoped if Boba Fett was the main character of one of the Star Wars movies. Where in the first movie, you're like, who is that Jimmy guy? And the next one, I'm like, I love Jimmy Crystal. This was fucking great. That's crazy.
And Jack O'Connell, legendary run with Remick from Sinners, loves burning building, loves home invading when he shouldn't be. Yeah.
Just crushed it, man. The Mark Strong of his day.
Yeah. I will go on record. I think they're going to make the third one.
Thank you.
I will say this. I like this movie. I don't think it's as... I like 28 Years Later better. But that's not to say that I didn't like this movie, because it's such a high bar to clear that I don't think it was ever going to live up to my expectations of the first movie, 28 Years Later. I did like it, though. I just think it's worse than 20 Years Later, basically, in every way, but it's still a good movie.
I can't say worse. I could say of a different quality. Like it's 28 Years Later is such a singular type of narrative horror movie. You can even call it that. Like, there's nothing I've ever seen like it. So it is a high bar to clear, but this is an excellent movie.
It just sucks to fucking repeat ourselves week to week. To last week or whatever. I guess last week was Stranger Things, but to go back to, again, Avatar, Fire and Ash, to be like, Way of the Water changed the way I think about movies. And the thing I don't like about Fire and Ash is it wasn't as good as that groundbreaking movie. It's like 28 Years Later was one of my favorite movies ever released now. And is this movie as good as that? No, but it sure is a fucking great sequel to that movie I adore.
Yeah.
I agree. Like Fire and Ash, the problem with Fire and Ash is it's not as good as Way of Water, but it's also too similar to Way of Water, where it's kind of repeating some of the themes of Way of Water in the plot points and stuff.
This is not similar to the last movie in any way, in fact.
Yep.
The problem with this is it's not similar enough, maybe. Like, I agree with you overall. Like, I did really like this movie. I don't know where it'll end up, obviously, on 2026. Like, long way to go. A lot of movies still to come out in this year. We're just started this year. Will it end up on my top 10? We'll see. But I know for sure 28 Years Later is on my top 10 of 2025.
And regardless of where it shakes out in your position of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Jacob, on how you end up ranking this franchise, can't you kind of at least admit, though, there's a chance this thing could go 4 out of 5 incredible movies, in which case, can you think of another franchise that's ever done that?
Especially horror. Probably not.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, is this one of the best franchises that we have? Like, the most unique and interesting franchises?
Easily.
It has 1 weak spot,
it's
literally.
like this and Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
This and Planet of the Apes are two franchises where I'm like, I cannot believe they're doing this. What an interesting, this is the angle you're coming at it to? Wait, I love it.
If you just take Planet of the Apes from Rise of the Planet of the Apes on, like the 2000s ones, I would say that's a similar bar of quality where it's like, all those, like, Rise is the worst of those movies, and I still like it, even though John Lithgow, I'm not sick anymore.
Right. We had that in this movie,
but maybe that's the 28 weeks later. But yeah, what I'm thinking, like, 28 Years Later is my number one. I'm thinking now, is this movie better, or like, would I put it higher or lower than 28 Days Later, which is a movie that I really like? 28 Weeks Later is obviously the bottom. But other than that, it's like, 3 really strong movies there in this franchise.
Yeah.
Mike, do you put this above Days?
Ah, man. I'm
it's
considering
hard.
it.
Such different movies is the thing. Yeah.
I think I can lock in that I think this is better than that first film.
Wow.
I
I
don't
think
know.
you have to take into account how
Groundbreaking, and just
influential and
one of a
groundbreaking it
kind.
was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for pure
And it
entertainment
has-
factor,
But
I
this,
don't know.
but
Flaws.
counterpoint. This has Jimmy Crystal, Jacob,
This
and
has
it
Jimmy
does have a
Crystal.
performance where Dr. Kelson sings a song.
An
So
He
entire
does, do a great Iron Maiden show. It's I don't know, it's a more unique movie maybe than 28 Days Later, but you have to consider
isn't it?
the
Right.
movie landscape of when 28 Days Later came out
Oh,
and
yeah.
basically kickstarted the zombie genre again
And
after
that literally
Romero.
wouldn't
Yeah,
exist if it wasn't for that first movie. Like, yeah, of course.
right.
So yeah.
And also just
Yeah.
like, Cillian Murphy made him a star. Basically, that was sort of his breakout role. Great cast, Namely Harris, Brendan Gleeson. The biggest weakness of that movie to me, it was the third act when they meet the military guys. That's kind of when it goes downhill for me a little bit. I love their journey through London when they're just driving in that taxi, and like that stuff is incredible.
Having picnics and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Ray Fine ever a Doctor Who villain or in a Doctor Who?
No, I wish. I mean, he was obviously in Harry Potter.
He
That's
would,
right.
yes,
Very much so.
Maybe in fact, this is why I'm about to say this, because of course, Lord Voldemort is such an incredible character. He would have been a great the Master to Christopher Eccleston. They carry the same like very intense British people vibe to me.
Christopher Eccleston, who plays the military guy in the third act of 28 Days
That's
Later.
right.
Obviously, he was only Doctor for one season, left that show, had a big falling out with the producers on that show. Bad working relationship. Then David Tennant comes in, but
we'll never stop being Doctor Who. Apparently,
yeah. Well, I could talk. I won't get into
no, we
the
don't have
state
time.
that Doctor Who is in right now. That's a whole different episode. But
what if Ray Fiennes like, I want to be the companion in the next series of Doctor Who?
Maybe.
Oh, hello, Doctor. You're very silly.
I was thinking when he's doing his whole Satan performance, I was getting some Voldemort vibes. So like, oh, he's played a Satan-y kind of villain before. Obviously, with Voldemort.
Oh, of course. Now
a noseless.
He has a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Schindler's List, right? That is we're done.
He is. Well, he's been nominated most recently for Conclave for lead actor.
Has he never won?
No, he did win for. I think you're right. Schindler's List.
Okay. So that's when I'm just thinking about this twilight of his career. We've got The Menu, one of Mike's favorite movies in recent years. Like he's on this legendary run. That Odyssey movie that I keep talking to you guys about that is completely insane. I want the world for him. This character, I just can't even believe that he had in him. And now I'm like, let this man do whatever he wants for the rest of time. He is at a Daniel Day-Lewis level.
Yeah. Yes, he's one of the best actors of the last, I don't know how many years. Like he's an incredible actor. This is some of his best work ever. Like there's no way in hell that he'll be nominated for an Oscar for this role, but he absolutely should.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
Insane.
You're telling me he's better in Conclave than in this? No, absolutely no way. I don't even hate Conclave, but that was sort of a career nomination of like, he's been around for a long time. He's been in a lot of great movies. Conclave, it's not his best role, but we'll nominate him for it.
It's very generic.
You're right, Colin. He's never won before. He's been nominated 3 times: Schindler's List, The English Patient, and Conclave. Never won. English Patient is a pretty mediocre film in my opinion.
No, but the legendary status those first 2 have, then Conclave is really the one.
Long time,
as being
2 in the 90s. Long hiatus of not getting nominated, but he's been in a lot of great movies. Voldemort, obviously. He's How
are you not nominated Best Supporting for that too? That's insane,
bro. Would this be supporting or lead? For this movie.
I would go lead. I would
Jack
go
O'Connell
lead him.
supporting.
I would go supporting Jack O'Connell. Yes, exactly.
Again, there's no way
nominate both of them.
The genre-ness of this movie, I don't think he'll have a chance in hell in getting nominated for an Oscar.
I mean, we're days away here, Jacob. I was
Michael B.
literally
Jordan
about
for
to
Sinners.
say we are days away here from knowing what the actual nominations are going to be, and I am getting nervous that Michael B. Jordan is not going to be nominated for Sinners.
I'm worried too.
Well. if you follow I don't really care about this stuff, but it's fun to speculate. Obviously, Oscars aren't that important, but
Right.
it's a crowded race for Best Actor this year. You've got Chalamet, Marty Supreme. You've got Leo, One Battle After Another. You've got Ethan Hawke. A lot of people are raving about him in Blue Moon. You've
Black Phone
got
2.
a Richard Linklater movie. So you have Ethan Hawke. You have Leo. You have Chalamet. You have who else? There's another one I'm
Is
forgetting.
it something
Obviously,
like a
Michael B.
Brad
Jordan.
Pitt in F1? Yeah, is it
No
some of
chance,
this
no chance.
bullshit? No chance. Oh, well.
But you have Jesse Plemons in Begonia.
Oh, a lot of the foreign Oscars, the Bong Joon-ho movie, and The Imposter, the Colombian Wagner Moreau. A lot of people.
Oh,
are
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
that
Right.
actor. Right. So
there's like
That's
6 or
right.
7 people that have a chance to be nominated. You can only nominate 5. So is Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
I think Michael B. Jordan will be nominated. I mean, the first 3 are a lock to me, like Chalamet, Leo, and Ethan Hawke. The way it's going.
Unfortunately, we'll say right here, it's going to be Chalamet.
Mm.
I don't know. Ethan Hawke is getting a lot of buzz right now. I know none
You're
of us has seen that
dreaming.
movie. He's getting a lot of buzz.
Dreaming. I'm rooting for Train Dreams, Joel Edgerton.
That's the other one, Joel Edgerton.
Oh yeah.
Never gonna happen, dog.
Well, it's
but for Best Picture, Sinners is a lock. One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme. 28 years later, came out in 2025. Should be nominated for Best Picture. Won't be, but absolutely should. Sinners,
Absolutely
because it captured the zeitgeist so well, will be nominated.
Best actress. What is her name, Jacob?
For which movie?
The mom for 28 years later.
Oh, Jodie
Whittaker.
Whittaker. No.
Is that her name?
No.
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer. I always mix her up with the Doctor Who.
Yes,
lady,
Jodie Whittaker was the doctor. Yeah.
Jodie Comer. Easily, I would slot her in there. That's insane.
Yeah. It won't be. Yeah. It won't be nominated probably for anything other than maybe some technical awards.
If that.
It just didn't make the impact culturally.
People don't like the cinematography. It's the best cinematography I've ever seen. People do not like the look of that movie.
Yeah, people have bad taste.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
Well, for relevance to this movie, do you think does Jack O'Connell get a nod for Sinners this year?
No. I don't.
No
think
chance.
So. The only Sinners, I would say, the only Sinners nom will be Michael B. Jordan for acting,
cinematography,
Best Picture, song, cinematography. But as far as acting,
costumes,
I'd love it if like Wunmi Misako was nominated. I don't think that's going to happen either. Yeah,
dang.
I think or Haley Steinfeld. I don't think she's in it enough, and I don't think Jack O'Connell. He was a good villain, but I don't think he's going to get nominated for anything.
Not a chance.
Heard y'all were having a party. Come on, man.
I think Michael B. Jordan does have a chance though, and because of the dual role nature of the role, where he's playing 2 parts, people be like, "Oh yeah, he deserves it for that." I don't think he'll win, but he'll get nominated.
Yeah.
So, other than Oscar talk, any final thoughts on this film before Jacob tells us what's coming up?
100%. Real quick, my audience clapped after the Iron Maiden song. Like literally, people were, and I was at the Alamo where people are quiet. Like people love that sequence.
It was,
yeah.
I heard,
and to see the fingers just rocking out and their minds just being blown in real time. Like
I heard that the film is getting 2 audience breaks. I had none. That it's post the performance and when Cillian Murphy shows up.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. If I had a more committed audience, my theater was dead. Yeah, there was like 5 other people in the theater other than me. But unfortunately, I think this is a word of mouth movie in that like we need to be spreading this and saying, go see this movie, especially if you've seen the first one.
I mean, sorry, the works of Nia DaCosta. My bad. If it's get out and spread it, people.
Speaks to me, old Nick.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Are you talking about Satan?
Yeah. So
yes.
Satan, but this is my final thing. For like third movie, right? One thing, I'm sad that the Bone Temple now, as it's been left with an upside down cross and a crucified man, the people will interpret it who come upon it as a satanic place.
The message.
It's not an ossuary.
It's actually not what my art is.
So that's something that
kind
can
of
be
like
resolved.
Red Pill being co-opted, Mike. I interesting about art being stolen by fascists.
I don't like that.
Author, okay,
and then I just need the
beyond.
No, the post-credit of the Dr. Ian Kelson Memorial Hospital being opened in London. Like, that's what I want. Anyway.
After the outbreak is cured.
Thanks to him.
Do you think the third movie will end with the outbreak being cured?
No,
that could be
don't.
interesting.
I do not believe in a happy ending.
I would love that. Dr. Samson, MD, come on.
Yeah. Dr. Samson, MD.
Zombie movies never done that where they resolve the outbreak, and I think that's an interesting direction if you can pull it off. And I'm not Alex Garland, so anyway, that's
it is interesting. I mean, the first movie is bleak but ends on a positive note with the survivors. Second movie ends on a very bleak note where they are like, well, England's a lost cause, basically. And now this new trilogy where it's remains to be seen how it'll end.
There's a chance.
What happens at the end of what happens at the end of Shaun of the Dead? Do they fix it?
Oh, I don't think they fix it.
I think they just
seen that a long time.
They kind of live in the status quo of the zombie.
Yeah,
apocalypse.
that tracks actually.
And he has Ed in the shed as a zombie playing video games.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And they're playing video games still, Mike. That's exactly right. Yeah.
There we go.
I just want to say this about, the people not, I think the problem, the marketing obviously was great with 28 years later. The problem is people went in expecting a different movie than they got. So it's maybe more divisive. Like obviously we all loved it. I think maybe a lot of people had a more similar reaction to my sister where she's like, that's not what I expected.
I saw no
for this one, no.
Not much.
Yeah. But
and that's kind of the problem.
Saying, but I don't know if that means the whole budget was taken, if that's what this 6 months thing is. But I
think that's the problem with
experiment. I don't know.
The problem with this one is that no one really is going to go see it unless they saw and loved the last one. And so you're counting on it's never going to get the same audience as the first one because people that saw it and were like, I didn't really like that. They're not going to go see the next one. So it's really only the people that are like truly loved it. They're like, I can't wait for the next one. And then everyone else is like, what? They made another 28 days? You mean that movie from the 2000s with Cillian Murphy?
You're trying to pitch them.
So it wasn't.
Hey, you hated the Jimmies in the last movie. This next movie's all Jimmies. Like, yeah, they're not gonna go to that. Anyway.
But obviously we're big fans, and
go see it
next week. Yes, next week, of course, we will be doing one of my favorite episodes of the year, the big top 10 films of 2025 episode that we always like to do in January of the next year. We're going to be talking about 2025 in film. I'm sure we'll be doing some more Oscar talk. Can't wait for that. And we'll talk about, was 2025 a good year for film? Was it a bad year? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah, but 28 weeks later or 28 years later will be a big discussion point, of course. And let me leave you with this. Okay, people say 2025 was a terrible year. Things are really bad right now. A lot of bad things are happening in this country and around the world, of course. But let me say this. Prior to 2025, we had 0 movies about the Bone Temple. And since 2025, we've had 2 movies about the Bone Temple.
That's true.
So you tell me if that's bad.
Yeah, no, you're right. I like my temples bony.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep,
that's right.
You're right, Mike. I ate the bones.
How you gonna make a boneless temple?
We're excited to talk all that. I'm excited for all that coming up. We're excited for you to tune in. Check us out at Normies_like_us for our Oscar episode, baby. Send in those lists. Let us know what your top 10 films of the year are. Your reactions to those things as they come in. For this one,
that's right.
Tell us if you took a trip to the fucking Bone Temple, and if you didn't, tell us why that too. We're curious.
Yes, please go see the Bone Temple. So they'll make a third one.
Please go.
I've been frantically every January. I frantically try to watch all the movies that I need to catch up on for our list episode. So I'm doing that now. Really filling in those blank spots. Excited to talk about that next week and hear what will be on your guys' lists. And I just love to talk about film.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I have about 40 movies right now on my list. Well, we're the top 10, but I saw 40 movies, and I want to know what you guys had at the very bottom. I want to know what your worst movie was too. So that'll be next week. I got a good one. I got a good one.
I've been desperate to do that because we've passed in the past years of opportunities to talk about like the Borderlands film that just like came and went. So I need to dig up a great stinker this year, Mike.
What's the gorge of the year?
I've seen a lot of movies from 2025. It's always hard to make a top 10. I always have like honorable mentions, dishonorable mentions. So it'll be fun to talk about the year in review for the film. Maybe we'll make some Oscar predictions, And then after that, we of course will be going back to Miyazaki or Febuzaki.
Woo!
That'll be the first week of February. Normally we do that at the end of every month, but we're going to do our top 10 first and then do
It's been a
Miyazaki.
minute, but we're pivoting around to
We're
stay
wrapping
on
up
top of some
Miyazaki.
other
We've only
stuff.
got 3 Miyazaki films left, I believe. Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, and 4, and The Wind Rises and The Boy and the Heron. So we'll wrap that up, and then maybe we'll do another long form series. So excited to find out what that'll be.
Wow.
Right.
We're doing the 28 franchise.
Yeah, we're going all the way back.
Just keep
Going
talking
back
about
to
those movies.
Oh man, I want to call these new 3 the Bone Trilogy. Once they're all said and
The
done.
Bone Trilogy.
The Bone Trilogy.
Bones.
Yeah.
All right, Bones.
All right.
Like, share, subscribe at normies_like_us. Rate, review. Helps us out a lot. Check us out on YouTube. We have been your hosts. This is Lord Proper Jimmy Colin.
Old Mick.
And this is Dr. Ian Cobson.
You remember in Muppet Treasure Island? I'm not Jim, Jiminy, Jim, Jimmy, Jim. He's Jim, Jiminy, Jim. I kept thinking about that in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm Jimmy
We're all
too.
Jimmy, yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, catch you Jimmys later. Bye.
How's that?
Bye.
How's that?
How's that?